Chapter 965. Within the ship's control room, Luo Feng and Tru Yen looked outside through the external simulation. Ahead of the ship, there was a huge python like raging wind. Waves and waves of black wind howled and enveloped a trillion km area, almost like pythons playing with each other, sweeping through space. This is the legendary ancestral god's secret region. Tru Yen exclaimed. Legend has it the ancestral god's secret region is one of the most dangerous regions. Luo Feng exclaimed. It's comparable to a universe country's size. There are dangers everywhere. Even a knight would find it hard to survive even if he were to enter. Universe secret regions were separated into different levels and areas, and since they already knew the coordinates of the inheritance grounds, Luo Feng and Tru Yen naturally investigated it first. This investigation shocked them, so the inheritance grounds were actually within one of the most terrifying secret regions in the universe, the ancestral god secret region. As the highest level and most dangerous region, normal dangers were enough to make a knight fall. Some extremely dangerous places would even make a universe lord hold his breath. Its largest diameter was 160 million light-years. Flying at sublight speed, it would take 200 million years just to traverse through it. To explore the entire ancestor god's secret realm. Even if one flew back and forth since the beginning of the universe, it would be impossible to explore the entire ancestor god's secret realm. What's more, who would dare to fly in such a dangerous place? Mysterious, dangerous, unable to enter. This was the name of the ancestral god's secret region. Legend has it that the most commonly seen thing in the ancestor god's secret realm is the black nightmare whirlwind. However, the moment a universe paragon falls into a black nightmare whirlwind, if it's a small one, it'll probably heavily injure the universe paragon. If it's a large one, it'll be enough to annihilate the universe paragon. Tru Yen sighed. Disciple, far ahead of us are black nightmare whirlwinds. There are even more behind. Luo Feng said. Tru Yen turned his head to look. In the distance, there was an endless black whirlwind that was hundreds of millions of kilometers wide, and it seemed to pierce through the starry sky. If the black nightmare whirlwinds in front of them were pythons, then the terrifying whirlwinds behind them were pythons that were billions of times larger. This is the outermost black nightmare tornado. Only the outermost black nightmare tornado would be this big. Tru Yen was shocked. Luo Feng nodded. We've already entered the interior of the ancestral god's secret region. The coordinates are here. The ship's speed began to slow down and gradually stopped. The cabin door opened and Luo Feng and Tru Yen flew out. In the vast void, there were only the countless black tornadoes chasing each other in the distance. Luo Feng and Tru Yen stood in mid-air and exchanged glances. Where? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. The inheritance grounds, the coordinates are here, but we can't see it. Wait, Tru Yen said. Suddenly the calm space around them began to distort. Luo Feng and Tru Yen's expressions changed, however the distorting space immediately became a whirlpool that swallowed them. Teleportation. Luo Feng and Tru Yen immediately thought of these words, following which everything before them became clear. Luo Feng and Tru Yen were still standing in space, only the distant scenery was breathtakingly beautiful. In the distance, there was an endless rainbow-colored river flowing. This rainbow-colored river was vast and filled with a mysterious energy. It made one involuntarily stare at it. Luo Feng and Tru Yen were warriors with strong willpower. They immediately realized this and awoke. You woke up pretty quickly. A cold voice rang out. Luo Feng and Tru Yen turned fiercely to look. Beside them stood an 8 m tall rock god. He was dressed in a purple armor with flames swirling around it. His entire body was dark green, almost like a dark green jade. Luo Feng and Tru Yen could tell from his appearance. This was the Fate Song race of the universe, a type of rock life form. Standing there as though he didn't exist, this made Luo Feng and Tru Yen shocked. It's a universe knight. Luo Feng thought, Only a universe knight can unleash teleportation without me noticing. His aura is so hidden that even I can't detect it. True Yen was shocked too. I'm the ancestral god sex receiver. The Fade Song race knight looked coldly at the two. Humans, take out the beast god inheritance token. Without it, you dare barge into our ancestral god sex territory, die. The moment his words landed, a terrifying burning energy descended, causing Luo Feng and True Yen to feel as though they were in a sea of fire, unable to resist at all. Like a small boat floating in the ocean, that feeling of helplessness made Luo Feng suspicious. The receiver of the ancestral god sect? The official members of the ancestral god sect consisted of the ancestral god, beast god, god generals and god envoys. The envoys were obviously the weakest. Even after inheriting the position, they were only comparable to the weakest universe knight. However, this Fade Song race being before them, just the pressure he emitted made it hard for him and his teacher to resist. Teacher, is he a god general? Luo Feng communicated. He should be. True Yen communicated. Otherwise he wouldn't be this strong. Even though they were shocked within, Luo Feng and True Yen flipped their hands and took out their Beast God Inheritance tokens. Beast God Inheritance tokens are incredibly rare. The Fade Song race knight revealed a smile. Your human race is indeed one of the 6 pinnacle races. You've already sent 2 of your people here with the Beast God Inheritance tokens. Since that's the case, you 2 are the inheritors. You have the right to enter. Follow me. The Fade Song race knight flew ahead. Luo Feng and True Yen naturally followed beside him. Do you see that? The Fade Song race knight pointed ahead at the endless surging rainbow illusion river. Luo Feng and True Yen nodded. I'll bring you closer. The moment the Fade Song race knight finished, Luo Feng and True Yen felt their vision blur. They had already teleported a few light years and arrived near the endless river. This is... Luo Feng held his breath. How was this a river? It was completely countless aurora lights of 5 different colors. The endless aurora lights formed this endless river from a few light years away. He could still make out the shape of the river. However, from a closer distance, Luo Feng could only feel that it was boundless. This is the legendary 5-colored Aurora Lake of the ancestral god's secret region? True Yen was shocked. You're quite knowledgeable. The Fade Song race knight looked shocked at True Yen. He smiled and praised. Right, this is the 5-colored Aurora Lake. Lake? Luo Feng was curious. From up close, it was endless. From afar, it was a surging river with no end. Of course it's a lake. The Fade Song race knight said. From where you were before, you thought it was a river. However, if you were to fly above the river and look, you'd realize it's an almost circular endless lake. This 5-colored Aurora Lake has a diameter of at most 10 light years. Its power is endless. Just every aurora light, if released, can heavily injure a universe knight. And the entire lake is formed from endless aurora lights. Its power is limitless. It's one of the strongest treasures in the vast universe. Luo Feng and True Yen were stunned. Every aurora light was that strong? This 5-colored Aurora Lake is our ancestral god sex protection treasure. The Fade Song race knight was shocked. With this treasure, who dares barge into our ancestral god sect? One of the strongest treasures in the universe? True Yen exclaimed in surprise. No wonder it's the ancestral god sect, the universe's #1 power. Luo Feng too was shocked. He was thinking about the Star Tower. Just looking at the countless auroras on the surface of the 5-colored Aurora Lake, one could tell that it had boundless power. It was also the ultimate treasure of the #1 power in the universe. The countless ceiling stars in his stellar pagoda that acted as the axis were all precious. There was also the heaven-reaching pillar and so on. Mountain Guest had also said that the stellar pagoda was one of the strongest treasures in the universe. I can actually see the 5-colored Aurora Lake. True Yen exclaimed. I've learned something new. The universe's strongest treasure, to be able to see it once, it's luck. The Fate Song Race Knight was proud. He said, "Doesn't your 4 races have one of the universe's strongest treasures, the Star Tower in the battlefield outside? That's a treasure that countless warriors can't even move or take away. Even now, countless warriors in the universe don't know its true power. Anyway, it doesn't have an owner yet." The Star Tower is one of the strongest treasures? True Yen was shocked. Looks like you don't know much. The Fate Song Race Knight shook his head and laughed. The Star Tower is one of the universe's strongest treasures that can be easily seen. It's also the most mysterious one. No one can figure out its true secret, and no one can take it away. It's been there for countless years, and no one can take it away. All right, I'll take you to Circus Island. The Fate Song Race Knight teleported with Luo Feng and True Yen. With the space teleportation, Luo Feng and True Yen arrived at the edge of the 5-colored Aurora Lake. They were only a few hundred meters away from the lake. It was too close. Beams of light, every beam was about 10,000 kilometers long. That vast and unrivaled power made Luo Feng and True Yen shocked. See? Circus Island is over there. The Fate Song Race Knight pointed to the depths of the 5-colored Aurora Lake. What? It's in the 5-colored Aurora Lake. Luo Feng and True Yen looked in shock. Indeed, they could vaguely see an island, but it was very blurry under the endless aurora lights. Come in. The Fate Song Race Knight flew in. Go in? The aurora has unlimited power, True Yen couldn't help but say. Don't worry. It's one of the most powerful treasures in the universe. It won't hurt anything it recognizes. Both of you have the Beast God inheritance token, so you can come in, the Fate Song Race Knight said. True Yen looked at Luo Feng and said, Disciple, let me try first. Then he walked to the edge of the lake and reached out to touch an aurora flying toward him. After he touched it, the aurora was like water. It surrounded True Yen's arm and didn't attack him at all. The Fate Song Race Knight didn't say anything. He had seen many inheritors who came here were very cautious and didn't easily believe what others said. Let's go in, True Yen said. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng was secretly grateful, but he didn't say anything else. He followed his teacher into the 5-colored Aurora Lake. It was as if they were moving in a real lake. As they flew, the aurora felt extremely comfortable. As they got closer, the Circus Island became bigger and bigger. The Circus Island is where the inheritors of the Beast God live. It's also the outermost area of the 5-colored Aurora Lake, the Fate Song Race Knight said as they arrived at the Circus Island. P.S. Chapter 1 is here. Chapter 18, Ancestor God Sect begins, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 966. Circus Island was a few million km in diameter. There were no auroras within 10,000 kilometers of it. Shio, shio, shio. 3 beams of light swiftly flew in and landed on Circus Island. It was the Fate Song Race Knight, Luo Feng, and True Yen. So many palaces. At a glance, Luo Feng saw numerous palaces on the distant land, as well as on some mountains. There were countless palaces of various styles, and many of them had powerful auras, which made Luo Feng frown. It seems that there are many experts living on Circus Island, Luo Feng thought to himself. Look! The Fate Song Race Knight pointed to the sky. Luo Feng and True Yen looked up. Luo Feng looked at the sky. Circles of light and shadow were covering the entire Circus Island. The circles of light and shadow were constantly expanding, and when they reached the edge, they disappeared. And in the center of the circles, new circles were born. One circle of light covered another, like ripples on water. They spread in all directions. Birth, destruction. Birth, destruction. So endless, every circle of light was formed from countless threads of law. The laws of time, space, metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, and various other laws were mixed within them. There were even numerous fusion laws, and even more incomparably profound threads of law intertwined with each other, causing every circle of light to be extremely perfect. Luo Feng was completely immersed in it. It was too shocking. The circles seemed to explain all the mysteries of the universe. You too! The Fate Song Race Knight shouted. Luo Feng and Tru Yen were startled. This is... Tru Yen was shocked. This is unbelievable, this is the outer appearance of the universe's operation laws. The Fate Song Race Knight's eyes were like copper bells as he looked up. Our ancestral god sect is the universe's #1 power. We protect the universe's operation laws as our core. Naturally, we are protected by the universe's operation laws. Luo Feng was stunned. Protect the universe's operation laws? Just like our ancestral god sect's ancestral god secret realm. It has the most special life forms in the universe and the most special treasures. The 5-colored Aurora Lake was also given to us by the universe's operation laws. The Fate Song Race Knight said confidently. Our ancestral god sect follows the universe's operation laws. Anyone who goes against the ancestral god sect will go against the universe's operation laws. Tyrannical enough. Luo Feng muttered to himself. Humph, you don't seem to believe me? The knight from the Fate Song race looked at Luo Feng and Tru Yen. You will understand after living here for 1 trillion years. Living for 1 trillion years? Luo Feng was puzzled. Come with me. The first thing we need to do is to build a residence on Circus Island. The Fate Song Knight said as he took big strides forward. Luo Feng and Tru Yen followed. Every step he took was over 1,000 kilometers. It was rather fast. Walking on Circus Island, Luo Feng saw palaces of various styles in the distance. At the same time, he saw experts of all races in the universe. There were hundreds of millions of races, which were extremely mysterious. Living beings of different appearances and natures lived everywhere. All of them had powerful auras, and some of them were special beings that Luo Feng knew. How many people live on Circus Island? Luo Feng asked curiously. Except for the owner of Circus Island, the rest are all inheritors. I'm just taking you here temporarily. I'll leave soon. The Fate Song race's supremacy said, there are many inheritors. Since the birth of the universe, the number of inheritors accumulated is extremely shocking. Even if the human race only has a few hundred inheritors since the birth of the universe, what about the entire universe? You must know that the universe is fair. The inheritance tokens given by the Ancestor God sect are scattered across the universe. There are hundreds of millions of races in the universe. In total, the number of inheritors is hundreds of millions of times that of humans. Tens of billions? Luo Feng stared. So many inheritors? Tru Yen couldn't believe it either. The universe is vast, and you humans are just a part of it. The Fate Song race's supremacy said, since the birth of the universe, it's impossible to calculate how many inheritors there are. I'm afraid only the high and mighty ancestor God knows. Of course, there aren't so many inheritors on Circus Island. Currently, there are more than 100 million residents on Circus Island. More than 100 million? Luo Feng asked doubtfully, what about the other inheritors in history? If an inheritor dies, even if the Lord of the Universe can reverse time and space and resurrect him, he won't be willing to resurrect your inheritance token. The price of resurrecting the Beast God's inheritance token is too high, so even the Lord of the Universe can't bear to do it. The Fate Song race's supremacy said, every inheritor has an inheritance token. From the moment you enter this place, the token is connected to your life. If you die, the token will shatter and you can't give it to anyone else. Many strong warriors have died. So there are only about 100 million inheritors left, the supremacy said. As they chatted, the Fate Song Venerable walked to a mountain beside a river and ordered, you too can build the palaces here. Remember, each palace is at most 1 kilometer in length and width. Even the demon clan or giant star beasts with huge divine bodies have to shrink their divine bodies to live in them. No one is an exception. Luo Feng and Tru Yen nodded. They had seen countless palaces along the way, but none of them was more than 1 kilometer long and wide. There's more. You can leave a token in your palaces, and you can teleport here directly from the God Kingdom, the Supremacy said. Circus Island will be a place you come to often in the future. Unless you die. If you have soul slaves, remember, don't bring them out, the Supremacy said. The Fate Song Supremacy said, once they're brought out, they'll be attacked by the 5-colored Aurora Lake and instantly annihilated. Even if you really want to bring them out, you can only do it in your palaces. The palaces are your territory, so you can't bring any slaves out once you leave the palaces. Of course, it's fine for plant lifeforms, metal lifeforms, and other vassal lifeforms. Understood. Luo Feng and Tru Yen listened carefully. Come with me. The Supremacy continued to guide them. His responsibility was to guide them, so he had to tell them some basic information. After a while, they came to the highest mountain on Circus Island. There was only one towering palace, which was more than 1,000 kilometers long. Inheritors are no exception. All palaces have restrictions, but the island lord doesn't. The Supremacy pointed at the towering palace. That's the island lord's palace. Let's go. They stepped on the mountain. Look up. The Supremacy pointed at the sky. Luo Feng and Tru Yen looked up. Luo Feng saw a beautiful and unbelievable scene. From his position and looking up, he could actually see a slit in the lake. Following this slit, he could see the center of the lake. There was an incomparably glaring huge palace. Around that palace that was emitting endless light, there were 8 smaller palaces floating and revolving around it. That's the real core of the Ancestor God sect. The Supremacy pointed and said enviously, the largest palace is the Ancestor God Palace. That's where the Ancestor God sect live. Although there are 3 Ancestor Gods in the Ancestor God sect, one guards the core. The 8 smaller palaces around the Ancestor God Palace are the 8 Beast Divine Palaces, where the 8 Beast Gods live. The 10 palaces around the 8 Beast Divine Palaces are the Guardian Beast Divine Palaces. There are 72 continents in the periphery of the Divine Beast Temple. Of course, from our perspective, we can only see 63 continents. Those are the continents where the 72 Divine Generals live. It's said that each Divine General continent is as big as Circus Island. The densely packed stars in the outermost periphery are the 3,000-star world. Each star world is also the residence of a divine emissary. The Ancestor God Palace, the Guardian Beast Divine Palaces, the 72 Godly Generals continents, and the 3,000 God Messenger worlds are the core of the Ancestor God sect. The Supremacy side. Apart from this core area, there are many islands in the Aurora Lake. Apart from your Circus Island, there are many other scattered islands where the outer members of the Ancestor God sect live, the Fate Song Tribe Venerable said. Outer members? Luo Feng and Tru Yen looked at him in surprise. Substitute God Messengers, substitute Godly Generals, and powerful Beast God Inheritors are all outer members, said the Supremacy. Seeing the 2 shocked Luo Feng and Tru Yen, he sneered. Humans, do you think there's a free lunch in the universe? Remember, the universe is fair. Our Ancestor God sect's efforts will naturally be rewarded. The God Messenger Inheritance Crystal, the Godly General's Inheritance Grounds, and the Beast God Inheritance Grounds in the Ancestor God Secret Realm, which one of them didn't cost a lot. The Supremacy said, since you've reaped the benefits, of course you have to pay a price. However, the Ancestor God sect doesn't care about the weak. Hence, those who receive the God Messengers and Godly Generals inheritance, unless they receive the complete inheritance, they don't have to work for the Ancestor God sect. Otherwise, he wouldn't need to work for the Ancestral God sect, which is equivalent to giving it to him for free. The Fate Song Supremacy said, however, It's different if you receive a complete inheritance. For example, the inheritance of a godly general. Once a godly general's inheritance is accepted, the entire inheritance land will collapse. It's equivalent to the loss of an inheritance land. Luo Feng was moved. Back when he went to the Demon Note inheritance ground, it indeed said that whoever received the complete inheritance would have the entire inheritance ground destroyed. Substitute God messengers and godly generals all receive the complete inheritance. As for the powerful beast god cultivators, they have reached an extremely high level of the beast god inheritance and are very close to the complete beast god inheritance. You should know that the ancestor god sect has to pay a greater price for the beast god inheritance, so these powerful beast god inheritance cultivators naturally have to pay a price, said the Fatesong Supremacy. These are the outer members. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 18, Ancestor God Sect begins. Everyone throw in your votes and recommendations. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 967. What about the Guardian Beast Shrine? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. The Guardian Beast God refers to those who have received the complete Beast God inheritance and trained to the Universe Lord level. Maybe some of them are unable to inherit the position because the current Beast God is still alive, or maybe they themselves aren't willing to inherit the position. After all, even though inheriting the position can cause one's power to rise explosively, they will never be able to rise again. The Fatesong Race Knight said. The Lord of the Universe, no matter where he is a group of great existences that stand at the pinnacle of the universe. Even if they are unwilling to inherit the position, the Ancestor God sect will respect their wishes and make them the Beast God Protector, said the Fatesong Race Supremacy. Luo Feng and Tru Yen nodded. They weren't surprised at all. There was no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Meat pies falling from the sky? Once was fine, but this ancestral god sect was so great that they kept giving meat pies to the world? No one could be that great. The ancestral god sect had many resources. They couldn't be bothered with the weaker inheritances, but the stronger ones who reached a certain level had to repay the sect. Relax. The Fatesong Race Supremacy said with a smile. The ancestor god sect is known as the most liberal faction. They do not contend for hegemony in the universe, nor do they need to fight for territory in the universe. They only have the ancestor god's secret realm as their core. The various dangers in the ancestor god's secret realm are enough to make other factions shrink back. Even if you become an outer member of the ancestral god sect, you won't feel restricted. The Fatesong Race Knight shook his head and smiled. Of course, you have to qualify to become an outer member first. It's very difficult to become an outer member. Accepting the complete envoy inheritance, the complete general inheritance, and the complete beast god inheritance up to the 5th level. No matter which one it is, it's extremely difficult. Luo Feng nodded. Just looking at Demon Note's inheritance ground, there were over 100,000 beings who tried and none of them received the complete inheritance. One could imagine how difficult it was. However, in the land of inheritance of the demonic Note Divine General, 32 lives could receive the inheritance every 10,081 eras. So, the 100,000 lives were actually only about 50 million eras. Compared to the long history of the universe, 50 million eras was actually very short. The leader of Circe's Island is the guardian beast god. The Fatesong Race Knight looked at the majestic palace ahead. Guardian beast god? Luo Feng and Tru Yen looked over. There were many carvings on the palace. There were carvings of gigantic horned lizards, roaring gorillas, flying beasts. Even though there were tens of thousands of carvings, there were only 8 types. Luo Feng now completely understood that these 8 carvings were probably the images of the 8 beast god. There was a huge platform square in front of the island master's palace. It was a cross-section of a mountain peak that had been cut off. There were 3 fountains on the sturdy and perfectly carved plaza. Spring water appeared out of thin air and gushed out endlessly. However, the ground of the plaza was not wet at all. The scene was indeed magnificent. The Fate Song Night, Luo Feng and Tru Yen walked to the front of the fountain and looked at the entrance of the palace. You can go in. My mission is over. The venerable of the Fate Song clan said, I hope you two can live a little longer on Circus Island. Don't die. Unless you get another legacy token, you won't be able to come back. I don't think many races will give you inheritance tokens twice. Thank you, sir. Luo Feng and Tru Yen thanked the Fate Song Knight for his guidance along the way. The Fate Song Venerable One smiled and transformed into a stream of light as he tore through the air and flew into the colorful aurora deep in the sky. Disciple, let's go in. Tru Yen smiled. Okay. Luo Feng and his teacher walked side by side to the entrance of the palace and entered. The palace was very vast. Luo Feng and his teacher walked for a long time before walking out of the palace. This was the front palace. Behind the front palace was a spacious courtyard. Behind the courtyard was the vast and majestic main palace. 2 inheritors. A man sitting cross-legged in the middle of the courtyard spoke up. Luo Feng and Tru Yen looked. A human? Luo Feng was shocked. This human was dressed in a simple black robe. He had long blue hair and blue engravings on his face. His energy was faint, but the weak energy he emitted made Luo Feng shocked. Just from the strength of his energy, he was at least a universe knight. Don't tell me he's the guardian beast god? Luo Feng and Tru Yen exchanged glances. The guardian beast god was a human? The black-robed man who sat cross-legged stood up and smiled at the two. I didn't expect to be able to see a human. It really makes me happy. You don't have to guess. I'm not the guardian beast god. I'm just a servant under the island leader. I'm in charge of guarding this palace and sending messages to the island leader. Servant. Luo Feng and Tru Yen were shocked. Soul slave? A universe knight level soul slave? And a human? Right, when I can accept other races as my slaves, those other races can naturally accept humans as slaves too. The guardian beast god is a universe lord level being. Accepting a human knight as a slave isn't strange at all. Luo Feng felt a sense of sadness and dissatisfaction, but he could only comfort himself. Tru Yen looked at the black-robed man and bowed. We are the new inheritors, here to greet the guardian beast god. Wait here, I've already sent the message to the guardian beast god. He's busy right now, wait here for now. The black-robed man smiled. Luo Feng and Tru Yen exchanged glances. Wait, what kind of status did the guardian beast god have? They could only wait. After waiting for half a day, Luo Feng and Tru Yen were getting anxious. Luo Feng asked, I wonder when the guardian beast god will arrive? There's no rush. The black-robed man smiled. The guardian beast god's matter is extremely important. There's no rush for you two. According to the rules of the ancestral god sect, the ancestor beast god will, at most, appear in 10 years. If the guardian beast god feels that he won't make it in 10 years, he'll ask another guardian beast god to take care of it. Luo Feng and Tru Yen exchanged glances. 10 years? If it's quick, he'll appear immediately. If it's late, it'll be 10 years. The guardian beast god that I've received has waited for over 9 years. There's only 3 days left before the guardian beast god appears. The black-robed man said, The two of you should just sit quietly. Endure. Luo Feng and Tru Yen could only sit cross-legged and wait. No one knew when the guardian beast god would arrive. 12 days later. Luo Feng and Tru Yen were in the central courtyard of the palace, sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed. Suddenly, an incredibly tyrannical energy that made one's heart tremble enveloped the entire palace. Luo Feng and Tru Yen immediately opened their eyes. The guardian beast god is here. Luo Feng and Tru Yen immediately stood up. As for the black-robed man, he had already entered the main palace. Come in. A slightly high-pitched voice that could penetrate one's soul rang out from the main hall. Luo Feng and Tru Yen obediently entered the main palace. The moment they entered, Luo Feng and Tru Yen saw a silhouette sitting on the throne high above. It was a peculiar life form that resembled a flood dragon. However, it had wings. It raised its head and gazed downwards. Its body was covered in a peculiar armor that had flames on it. As it sat on the throne, it made Luo Feng and Tru Yen feel as though they had entered an endless world of flames. The surrounding space and time was filled with flames, and that peculiar life form was the controller of this space and time. As long as it willed it, with a thought, it could kill the two of them. The guardian beast god. Luo Feng thought to himself. It should be a beast god that has mastered fire and space and become the lord of the universe. From now on, you two are the inheritors of Circus Island. A slightly high-pitched voice resounded from the dragon's head. First of all, I grant you the right to enter the glory world. As soon as the voice fell, two objects that looked like optical computers appeared out of thin air and flew directly to Luo Feng and Tru Yen. These are the reception sensors for the virtual world. The glory world is an important virtual world of our ancestor god sect. It's similar to your human virtual universe. Although it's much smaller, the glory world has the same function for you. You'll know when you log in. Luo Feng and Tru Yen took the two receivers. I also grant you the right to enter the land of inheritance, the land of treasure, and the land of secret. The guardian beast god said, Do you see the 3 water curtains outside the palace? Luo Feng and Tru Yen nodded. Water curtains? Isn't that the fountain? That's a teleportation channel. Of course, I have to grant you the right, otherwise it'll be difficult for you to enter. The guardian beast god said, The water curtain on the left is the channel to the land of inheritance. The water curtain in the middle leads to the land of treasure, and the water curtain on the right leads to the land of secret. The 3 water curtains lead to 3 different locations. The land of inheritance is the place where you accept the beast god's inheritance and test your understanding of the laws. The land of treasure is the place where the beast gods, guardian beast gods, and the super strong beast god cultivators of the ancestor god sect hide their treasures. There are a lot of treasures there. Many strong people left many obstacles, restrictions, and requirements. Only those who meet the requirements of the strong people can take out the treasures. Some time ago, there was a little guy among you humans who found a treasure in the treasure trove. If you want to explore the ancestor god's secret realm, you can follow that passage and enter the depths of the ancestor god's secret realm. The ancestor god's secret realm is the most mysterious secret realm in the universe. Most special life forms live here, and there are many mysterious treasures in the universe. Whether it's natural materials or some treasures nurtured by the universe, they're all hidden in it. However, the ancestor god's secret realm is also the most dangerous secret realm. Although it can directly transport you to the center, and you don't have to explore the outer perimeter, the more valuable the treasures are, the more dangerous it is. Even the universe lords can fall, and even the universe lords can be trapped. So if you decide to explore the secret realm, you have to be prepared to die. The land of inheritance, the land of treasure, the land of secret realm, and the world of glory, these are the 4 places you need to be familiar with on Circus Island. Go build your residences first, then go to the land of inheritance. The guardian beast god looked down from his throne. Go. Yes, Island Lord. Luo Feng and Tru Yen bowed respectfully and left. P.S. Chapter 1 is here. Seeking recommendation votes on Monday. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 968. There were over 100 million inheritors on Circus Island. Luo Feng and Tru Yen began to build a residence according to the directions given by the Fatesong Venerable. Condense. Luo Feng used his world energy to swiftly condense a mansion in his internal world, The architectural style was similar to the ancient Chinese Jiangnan gardens of his home planet Earth. It was a majestic four-sided huge courtyard. Within the courtyard there was a cobblestone path. Beside it were all sorts of flowers, and there was a pool of water. The pond was the essence of the Jiangnan gardens. There was a stone bridge over the pond, and around it were pavilions, terraces, and waterside pavilions with white walls and black tiles. There were also many independent study rooms, guest rooms, and other pavilions. In front of some pavilions there was a pond, and in the middle of the pond was a rockery. Although the whole garden was only about 1 kilometer, it was very charming. It completely embodied the essence of the Jiangnan gardens in Luo Feng's hometown. During the Grand Nirvana period on Earth, many gardens were destroyed. However, in the era of base cities, some rich people built garden villas, and Huaxia also renovated several ancient gardens. Luo Feng had learned about this in history class when he was in school. How good was his memory! He had directly copied the layout of some of the gardens that he knew from the history books and some of the garden layouts that he had copied over. He had just enlarged it. Luo Feng condensed the world energy and quickly condensed such a mansion. In order to strengthen it, he consumed a lot of world energy. Out! Luo Feng pointed at the mountain in front of him. Boom! A huge, square-shaped private garden sat directly on the ground. In the distance there was a continuous mountain range, surrounded by rivers. The garden and the surrounding scenery were almost integrated into one. Disciple, this. Tru Yen was still painstakingly preparing to build a huge palace. However, upon seeing Luo Feng's residence, he blinked. With a sweep of his god energy, he naturally saw everything clearly. It's really, teacher, you can't understand the culture of my hometown with divine power. Come in and have a look. Luo Feng smiled and immediately led Tru Yen in. Tru Yen had traveled the universe and had seen a lot. Just by looking at the countless buildings on Circus Island, he knew they all had their own style, and many of them were no less exquisite than Luo Feng's. However, Tru Yen had never seen this type before. Walking on the stone bridge, Tru Yen said in surprise, "This is strange. It is less than 1 kilometer in length and width, but your residence gives me the feeling of a luxurious palace that is dozens of kilometers long. Furthermore, it is clearly just the scenery around this pool, but from different angles it feels completely different. Changing the scenery with every step is one of the wonders of this building. Through visual guidance, the same scenery has different kinds of beauty." Luo Feng smiled. Come, give me one too," Tru Yen urged. How could this disciple dare to disobey teacher's instructions? Luo Feng immediately condensed another mansion. However, the style of the mansion he gave to his teacher was slightly different. If his own mansion was closer to the elegant style of the Ming and Qing dynasties, then his teacher's garden mansion was closer to the Tang style. It was more direct and domineering. After the mansion was built, Luo Feng and Tru Yen went to the square in front of the palace of the Lord of Circus Island. Let's go. Luo Feng and Tru Yen stepped into the left fountain simultaneously. His body disappeared as soon as he touched it. Luo Feng felt the scene before him change. Before he could even see his surroundings clearly, he felt a terrifying pressure envelop him. Rumble, the pressure was even stronger than the ice prison. It was even heavier than a neutron star pressing down on his body. Simultaneously, there was also the pressure of his soul. This is... Luo Feng saw his surroundings clearly. It was empty space, and around it was a black mist. In the empty space, there was a meteorite floating. On the meteorite was a warrior dressed in purple armor with a wolf head. This was one of the larger branches of the human race, the Wolfman race. The Wolfman warrior looked at Luo Feng and Tru Yen and revealed a look of shock. He smiled. You two must be the Blade River Emperor and Tru Yen. I knew you two would come. Greetings, Jiu Feng Knight. Tru Yen said respectfully. Greetings, Jiu Feng Knight. Luo Feng too bowed. However, he was filled with questions. At this time, Tru Yan's voice resounded in his mind, "Disciple, this Jiu Feng Knight is one of the 7 overlords of our human race. He's on the same level as the Tianshi Palace leader, you know. It's said that he received the complete inheritance of a god general." Luo Feng was shocked within. The complete inheritance? A 7-star overlord comparable to the Tianshi Palace leader? This is the ancestral god sect's inheritance grounds. Jiu Feng Knight sat crossed-legged on the meteorite, smiling at the two. Naturally, there's a powerful pressure here. It's a pressure on the divine body's soul imprint. If one doesn't have the emperor-level strength, they'll probably die immediately. This is also why the geniuses of the race usually have to become undying before they can receive the inheritance. After all, to be able to receive the inheritance, those absolute geniuses who have reached undying, none of them are weaker than an emperor. Do you see the black mist around? Jiu Feng Knight pointed around. Luo Feng and Tru Yan nodded as they looked around. This space was simply too peculiar. God energy and world energy couldn't even be used to scan, and the entire area was shrouded in black mist. Enter the black mist and receive the inheritance. Jiu Feng Knight said, "You two split up, don't stay together." "Yes." Luo Feng and Tru Yan replied respectfully. Following which, the teacher and disciple flew in 2 different directions. The moment Luo Feng entered the black mist, an unbelievable energy enveloped his entire body. Even though Luo Feng's willpower surpassed most of the knights in the universe, he was still unable to resist this mysterious energy. Without any resistance, Luo Feng stood dumbfounded in mid-air, simultaneously extending his right hand's finger. Qi. A thread of world energy emitted from Luo Feng's finger, swiftly forming origin law engravings. Engravings began to appear. The entire space and gold law fusion started from the basic. Luo Feng actually began to uncontrollably demonstrate it, from the basics to the point where he understood everything. As he progressed, more and more engravings appeared. The surrounding origin law engravings began to revolve, forming a beautiful origin law world. After a while, Luo Feng stopped. That mysterious energy immediately left Luo Feng's body. Only then did Luo Feng regain consciousness. What? Luo Feng's back and forehead immediately broke out in a cold sweat. This was from shock. He actually clearly remembered the scene just now. He remembered being controlled by the formless energy and using all his strength to demonstrate the mysteries of the laws. Too unbelievable. My willpower is that strong, and I even have the pearl in my soul. Even a universe lord would find it hard to directly control my soul. However, that mysterious energy actually controlled me. This is simply... Luo Feng felt the terror of the ancestral god sect. Yes. This is the inheritance grounds. Not just me, even the universe knights, even the Tianshi Palace leader and the other beings, like Hiroto, as long as they haven't received the complete inheritance, they would be able to come here. This mysterious energy actually controlled me. I'm afraid it'll treat everyone equally, controlling all the inheritors that come here, which means it can control Hiroto too. I feel that this mysterious energy isn't tyrannical at all, yet it makes me lose all thoughts of resisting. What energy is this? Luo Feng was still pondering. That mysterious energy descended once more. 3rd level. A majestic voice resounded within Luo Feng's mind. It didn't speak any words, but Luo Feng immediately understood what the 3rd level meant, and that mysterious voice continued to resound within Luo Feng's mind. This voice once again caused Luo Feng to sink even deeper, sinking into a peculiar illusion. In that illusion, the deeper wonders of the beast god path were revealed to Luo Feng in the most detailed manner. It tore apart the space and gold fusion laws, explaining them inch by inch. It was too detailed. It was almost like an absolute warrior was pouring the mysteries into his mind. This was much better than looking at the 52 primal chaos tablets and the beast god statue. After an unknown period of time, the energy dissipated. The surrounding black mist fiercely repelled Luo Feng, causing him to tumble and fly backwards. Too unbelievable. Luo Feng blinked, his eyes burning with passion. If only I could do it a few more times. I've been training in the ice prison for over 2,000 years, and I've only studied a little of the third part of the 7 divine transformations. This third part is obviously much harder. I didn't expect that after such a short period of time, I've actually comprehended much more than what I've comprehended in the past 2,000 years. I feel that if I do it again, I'll be done with the third part. Before, the wonders of the third part must have been completely explained to me. However, I've only remembered half of it. I can't remember the rest clearly. Luo Feng was anxious. It's been a long time since he had such a feeling. Just like when he was young on Earth, waking up from a dream and clearly dreaming of a certain story, yet he could only remember a small part of it. Ever since he became a warrior, Luo Feng had never had such a feeling. However, at this time, he had such a feeling again. Before, when he received the inheritance, everything was hazy and blurry. He could only remember a small part of the third part, the rest was completely unknown. However, he was certain he had experienced that scene. Don't just stand there, Jiu Feng Knight said from the meteorite. Luo Feng and Tru Yen stood there dumbfounded in space. Only then did they wake up, their eyes filled with glee. The inheritance grounds are naturally formed by the universe. It's extremely mysterious, and also an important place for the ancestral god sect. Jiu Feng Knight said, every inheritance, they'll first observe your origin law comprehension progress. The beast god inheritance has a total of 7 parts. If you've comprehended the first 2 parts, but haven't comprehended the third part, then the inheritance in the inheritance grounds will be the third part. If you've comprehended the third part, then the inheritance you receive will be the fourth part. How are the 2 of you? Jiu Feng Knight looked at Luo Feng and Tru Yen. What level are you at? The third part. Luo Feng said, I've learned a lot. The fourth part, I've comprehended the first 3 parts long ago. Tru Yan's eyes were filled with excitement. I feel. I'm about to break through. P.S. The second part has ended. Tomato will continue writing the third. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 969. Breakthrough. Paragon Jeffeng looked at Tru Yen in shock. Teacher, you want to. Luo Feng couldn't help but be filled with glee. His teacher had been stuck at the final step for countless years, and coming here to receive the inheritance was a chance. But no one could guarantee success. He didn't expect that his teacher would achieve a breakthrough right after receiving the inheritance. Tru Yen was extremely excited. He had waited for far too long. When he first stepped onto the path of an expert, he still had his loved ones by his side. But as time passed, his loved ones grew old one by one, and his hometown became stronger because of him. Especially after such a long period of time, the foundation of his hometown had already formed, so there was no need for him to worry about it. It seemed that there was nothing truly troubling him as long as he, Tru Yen, was alive. His only pursuit was the path of the strong. But he had never been able to advance. Back then, some of the super geniuses of the outsiders had already become universe supremacies. Tru Yen could only choose to live in Primal Chaos City. Teaching the younger generation was probably the only thing he could do. Accepting the beast god's inheritance was his best chance. However, just because there was a chance didn't mean that it would succeed. Haha, I just feel that I'm about to break through. I have a lot of inspiration. Tru Yen laughed. As for when I'll take the final step, it's hard to say. It's good that you feel it. Venerable Dovewind smiled. What I'm afraid of is not feeling anything at all, feeling helpless. Since you have so many inspirations, go back and carefully comprehend them, in particular, carefully study the beast god Tao. Some of the memories you received before seem to have forgotten, and some of them will appear again. Ah! Luo Feng was shocked. He couldn't recall it no matter how hard he tried. How could he possibly remember it? This is a small trick. During the inheritance, for example, Saber River King, when you received the third layer of inheritance, you have actually seen all the profound mysteries of the third layer once. It's just that your previous cultivation foundation is so strong, so there's a limit to what you can remember and understand. That's why you can't remember more. But once you go back and carefully comprehend it, you will be able to recall a little more. The most important thing was that he had to hurry up, immediately study the path of the beast god. Venerable Jiefeng reminded. Thank you, Jiu Feng Knight. Luo Feng and Tru Yen said gratefully. Also, isn't the effects of the inheritance very good? Jiu Feng Knight looked at Luo Feng. I can tell just from your expressions, however, don't get too excited. It seems like this inheritance is better than cultivating and comprehending for a long period of time. Actually, this is just an illusion. Illusion? Luo Feng and Tru Yen were shocked. All of you have worked so hard to cultivate and comprehend. Perhaps some of you have comprehended something, but some of you do not. However, it is precisely because you have carefully comprehended for a long time that there are many things that you do not understand, that when you receive the inheritance, you will instantly see the light, and you will directly comprehend some of the profound mysteries that you have pondered for a long time. That's why you'll feel like you've comprehended a lot. If you think that you don't need to cultivate and only rely on inheritances, then you are gravely mistaken. Without the repeated reflections, failures, and doubts from before, even if I accepted the inheritance, I wouldn't have gained anything. You will completely forget about it, Jiufeng solemnly said. Luo Feng and Tru Yen immediately understood. This was similar to the Primal Chaos Tablet. When one had many doubts while cultivating, the effect of looking at it was extremely good. And this Beast God inheritance only increased the effect of the Primal Chaos Tablet by 1,000,000 times. However, it still required the cultivator to cultivate and comprehend it. When can we receive the inheritance again? Luo Feng asked. The Beast God's inheritance is divided into 7 layers. You will have a chance to comprehend each layer for free. Venerable Jiefeng said, if you comprehend the second layer, then you can receive the third layer for free. When you've completely mastered the third stage, you'll be able to receive the fourth stage for free. If you continue like this, the logic is very simple. There is only one free chance for each level. In other words, Blade River King, you can't accept the third inheritance for free. Venerable Jiufeng said. Luo Feng asked, if it's not free, then you have to pay a price? Even if he had to use a treasure to exchange for a chance to inherit the legacy, it would be worth it. What's the price? Treasure? Tru Yen also asked. Does the ancestor god sect care about your little bit of wealth? Supremacy Jiufeng shook his head. On top of the free inheritance, you want to receive an additional inheritance. I can only go to the World of Glory. World of Glory. Luo Feng and Tru Yen memorized it. Once you enter, you'll know. Venerable Jiefeng said, I can only advise you to be extremely careful. Venerable Jiefeng looked at Luo Feng and Tru Yen in space. Finally, I'll tell you 2 basic things. 1. Killing is forbidden within the range of the lake. You can spar, but if you try to kill someone, you'll be attacked by the lake. Of course, once you leave the lake, no one will care about you. 2. Every inheritor on Circus Island has their own palace. Your palace is your own territory, other warriors are forbidden from entering. Similarly, you are forbidden from entering the residences of other warriors, unless the master leads you or agrees. Remember these 2 points. Go. Venerable Jiefeng said, the entrance to the space tunnel is behind you. Luo Feng and Tru Yen bowed respectfully, turning back to look. There was a region in space rippling with translucent ripples. The 2 immediately flew in. Shwa. They were teleported away. The only thing left in space was Venerable Jiefeng sitting on the meteorite. Looking at Luo Feng and Tru Yan's laughter, he muttered to himself, Blade River Emperor? He's the Blade River Emperor that's actually a sector lord? He's not normal, just a sector lord, and he's reached the 3rd level. Cirrus Island. Walking out of the water fountain, Luo Feng and Tru Yan became 2 beams of light and flew towards their residences. Disciple, I'm filled with inspiration and many ideas. I feel that I have a high chance of breaking through. If I can really break through this time. Tru Yan looked at Luo Feng. It'll be your credit. Without teachers' trillions of years of training, what's the point of having the beast god inheritance token? Luo Feng said. Ha 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 ha, makes sense. However, taking you as my disciple is a good deal, ha ha. Tru Yan said happily, I still need to carefully study and try to break through. This time, I estimate it'll take at least 1.5 years to 10,000 years to become a universe knight. If I don't succeed in 10,000 years, then I'm afraid I won't be able to succeed in a short period of time. Teacher will definitely succeed. Luo Feng said. Good, with these words of yours, I'll be getting some of your luck, I'll definitely succeed. Tru Yan was filled with fighting spirit. During my study, I'll probably not show myself. Unless it's an emergency, you don't have to look for me. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. At such a crucial time, why would he disturb his teacher? I hope the next time we meet, I'll already be a universe knight. Tru Yan said. I'm looking forward to that day too. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, watching as Tru Yan flew into the distant residence. Hua, the door closed. Obviously Tru Yan was about to begin his closed-door training. Luo Feng stood by the riverside, looking at his teacher's residence. He couldn't help but smile. Within he was filled with joy. Teacher has been waiting for trillions of years for this moment. The path of the strong. After stopping for so long, teacher will once again take a step forward and reach an even higher peak. I have to work hard too. The inheritance is mysterious, however normal training and study is the foundation. Luo Feng entered his residence and sat crossed-legged on the stone path beside the pool. Facing the fake mountain, he began to meditate. Time passed. In the blink of an eye close to half a year had passed. Sitting crossed-legged on the stone path beside the pool, Luo Feng opened his eyes. Jiu Feng Knight's words were true. My improvement in this half a year is indeed not small, even though it's not as exaggerated as when I received the inheritance. However, it still far exceeds my comprehension in the ice prison. Right now my study speed has returned to normal. Then there's no rush. Luo Feng got up and walked out of the residence. Luo Feng walked to the side of the river and looked around. His teacher's residence was still closed. In the distance he could see silhouettes. Where to? Glory World, Inheritance Land, Treasure Trove Land, Secret Area. Luo Feng muttered. I don't dare go to the secret area for now, without any information. Going there stupidly would be suicide. Even if I go there, I won't be able to receive the inheritance. There's no rush in Glory World. I'll first go to the Treasure Trove Land. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. The Treasure Trove Land, according to what the guardian beast god said, it was a place where many beast gods, guardian beast gods and absolute warriors left their treasures. There was a sea of treasures. That guardian beast god said there was a human punk that acquired a treasure trove a while ago? Luo Feng's mind couldn't help but recall the scene of the 7 sword emperors using the golden pool back then. Don't tell me it's him. Whatever, I'll go take a look first. Luo Feng became a beam of light and flew towards the plaza of the island leader's palace. When he landed, he discovered a silhouette standing in the plaza. He was close to 3 m tall, dressed in a dark green tree bark-like armor. His exposed skin had a silver metallic glow to it. He was bald and his eyes were like 2 diamonds. Automaton. Luo Feng landed. Human. The automaton warrior stared at Luo Feng, examining him, almost like a machine scanning. Following which, the automaton expert grinned. My database has the information of 91,293 human titled Emperor experts, and the human titled Emperor Undying experts are all recorded. Logically speaking, to be able to obtain the Beast God Legacy token and enter, you should be a rather famous titled Emperor expert of the human race. But the strange thing is, I didn't find any information on you. However, according to the information of the battle between the Blade River King and the Black Razor King in the extraterritorial battlefield thousands of years ago, once the Blade River King made a move, the phantom of the Beast God would appear. That Blade River King obviously cultivated the Beast God Tao. And in the recent 10,000 eras, the number of humans training in the Beast God path can be counted on one hand. With that Blade River Emperor's talent, the human race would definitely give him the Beast God Inheritance token. Combining all the information. If I'm not wrong, you're the Blade River Emperor. TSK, the treasure is really mysterious, even I can't tell that you're actually a sector lord. The automaton warrior looked at Luo Feng and said, P.S. 3 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 970. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows as he looked at the automaton warrior before him. He didn't expect these other races to be able to guess so accurately. However, it wasn't hard to guess. Like the Bug Clan, Demon Clan and Automaton Clan, they often interacted with the humans. They had very detailed information on the humans, and those who could enter the inheritance grounds were all top-notch figures of their own races. One had to know that even True Yen Emperor had a hard time getting one from his race. From this, it could be seen what sort of background these people had. Even though you didn't speak, I'm sure you're the Blade River Emperor. The automaton warrior stared at Luo Feng. He wanted so badly to kill this human before him. The Blade River Emperor's bounty was shocking. You can only guess my identity, but I know you're Ju Absolute Emperor. Luo Feng laughed as he looked at him. As for my identity, don't you like guessing? Take your time. Immediately, Luo Feng took a step and entered the fountain screen, disappearing. Upon seeing this, the mechanical race's great absolute king was slightly startled. After which, he looked at the empty square and muttered softly, Interesting, he actually didn't directly admit it. However, it seems that this sector master, the Saber River King with such terrifying combat strength, doesn't have a good temper. Right, he's the pride of the heavens. To be able to enter the inheritance grounds, who wasn't a pride of the heavens? It was just that the Blade River Emperor's name was too famous. It had already spread throughout the trillions of races in the universe. Who didn't know that humanity had a Blade River Emperor? Just a sector lord body, yet he had battle strength that exceeded the limits of an emperor. This caused the Blade River Emperor's light to overshadow countless geniuses in the universe. Even the invincible emperor-level geniuses, their fame couldn't compare to the Blade River Emperor. Jealousy was natural. The treasure trove? That's where the inheritors gather the most. They usually stay there when they have nothing to do and try their luck. With so many inheritors, they'll definitely guess this Blade River Emperor's identity. Ju Absolute Emperor smiled, stepping into the middle fountain screen and heading towards the treasure trove. Even though Luo Feng didn't admit it, Ju Absolute Emperor was from the automaton race. He was an evolved living AI. His logical deduction abilities were terrifying, and he was extremely confident. The teleportation was complete. Luo Feng appeared at the peak of a mountain. Looking into the distance, he could see many mountain peaks, some steep, some strange. There were tens of thousands of mountain peaks. He couldn't see the end of them. There were even lakes in between the mountain peaks. Some were big and some were small, some were over 1,000,000 kilometers. The lakes were also very beautiful. Some were as green as giant emeralds, while others were as black as ink. Luo Feng looked up. High up in the sky, there were auroras flying around. It was obvious the treasure was within the range of the 5-color Aurora Lake. Right, the treasure trove. It's said that there's a sea of treasures. Such an important place, the ancestral god sect would probably have to carefully place it in a safe place. Otherwise, if some absolute being from the outside descends and takes it away, that would be interesting. Luo Feng thought. Whoosh! Luo Feng immediately flew up, flying above the many mountain peaks, gazing from afar. On the peaks, west of the mountains, within the valleys, or beside the lakes, above the lakes and even in the lake water, there were many silhouettes. There were flesh and blood life forms, stone life forms, energy life forms, plant life forms, there were countless types of life forms, and there were also many special life forms. Some of the demon and plant life forms with huge bodies had shrunk too. Interesting, it's an exhibition of trillions of races. Luo Feng thought. Even though I've seen many races in the foreign battlefields, compared to this, they pale in comparison. This was the first time Luo Feng had seen so many races and special life forms, hence he was so happy. After a while, he would get used to it and naturally it wouldn't be a big deal. Whoosh! Luo Feng rushed down and landed on a mountain peak. Luo Feng found a large rock and sat crossed-legged on it. He looked around, surveying the mountains and rivers, feeling rather satisfied. Where's the treasure trove? Human brother. A voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look. In the distance a silhouette flew over. He was rather handsome, his body was slightly translucent and he was dressed in a jade-green armor. Luo Feng smiled at the sight. Dark Mist Race brother. The Dark Mist Race was a part of the Great Alliance. My name is Qianyu. The Dark Mist youth smiled as he landed on the mountain peak. My name is Hua. Luo Feng said. Haha, I've never seen you before, have you just arrived? Dark Mist Qianyu laughed. This is the first time I've been to this treasure trove. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings and exclaimed, I've never been here before. However, I've heard that this treasure trove has many treasures left behind by the ancestors of the ancestral god sect. However, when I came here, I only felt that the scenery was incomparably beautiful, yet I didn't discover any treasures. Ha ha! You didn't discover any treasures? Dark Mist Qianyu laughed loudly. Why? Luo Feng looked at him. Did I make a fool of myself? That's because there are treasures everywhere. Qianyu of the Dark Mist race pointed in every direction. Almost every mountain peak and lake in this area contains treasures. All of them. Luo Feng glanced over and was stunned. Even though the mountains and lakes were huge, but there were over 10,000 mountains and over 1,000 lakes. How many treasures would there be? There are many treasures, and look at the highest 108 mountains. Qianyu of the Dark Fog race pointed at the extremely tall mountain peaks in the distance. Those 108 mountain peaks were clearly taller than the other peak. Almost all the inheritors know that the 108 most precious treasures that the ancestor god sect has stored since the birth of the universe are hidden in those 108 mountain peaks. Of these 108 treasures, 42 have been taken away by some lucky fellows since the birth of the universe. The one that was closest to our era was something that happened 2 million epochs ago. That lucky demon race universe supremacy actually obtained an ultimate treasure. Treasure? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Of course. Dark Mist Qianyu said. This is the treasure trove of the ancestral god sect. There's a sea of treasures here. Of the top 108 mountains, any one of them is precious enough to reach the threshold of a treasure. Many rare and precious treasures, even treasures that are extremely helpful for training the beast god path, are all stored within. However, it's very hard to obtain them. Luo Feng gazed into the distance. Those 108 mountains were majestic. Nobody broke through the mountains? Luo Feng mocked. Who would dare? Firstly, these mountains are all protected by the energy of the five-colored lake. At least us Emperor-level Undyings can't destroy them. Secondly, those universe venerables who are capable of destruction wouldn't dare to destroy the treasure. That would be blasphemy and disrespect to the ancestor god sect's past expert. They would be killed by the multicolored Aurora Lake, said Qianyu of the dark mist race. Luo Feng nodded. Then let's not think about the top 108 treasures. Let's go elsewhere and try our luck. Dark Mist Qianyu smiled. The more precious the treasure, the more complicated the conditions to open it. If we know the conditions, we can still work hard. The worst thing is, we don't know what conditions the absolute warriors set when they set up the treasure trove. Hence, we can only rely on our luck. Who knows, we might even find a treasure that suits us. The value of the weakest treasure here still surpasses a normal treasure. Luo Feng nodded within. Look at what kind of beings set up the treasure troves. Within the treasure trove, there were many Emperor-level undyings. However, there were many Universe Knights too. After all, many of the inheritors were Universe Paragons, and many of the outer members of the ancestral god sect were Universe Paragons too. Hence, in the treasure hoard, the ratio of Emperor rank undyings to Universe Paragons was close to 1,001. Wherever the Universe Paragons passed, the Emperor rank undyings naturally avoided them. Rumble. A majestic silhouette broke through the skies and rushed towards a mountain peak. Humans. The majestic silhouette looked at the two silhouettes on the mountain peak. One was a human and the other was from the Dark Mist clan. Humans are the most annoying. The majestic silhouette's single eye flashed with disgust, after which it ferociously rushed downwards. Originally, Luo Feng and Qianyu from the Dark Mist clan had noticed it and were about to avoid it. However, the majestic silhouette ferociously increased its speed and almost instantly reached the mountain peak. Rumble! A terrifying god energy swept through. Luo Feng and Qianyu felt as though they were slapped away by a huge screen. Chi-Chi, Luo Feng and Qianyu both spat out fresh blood. Bastard! Qianyu from the Dark Mist clan gritted his teeth. Luo Feng's expression, however, sunk. Beside, Qianyu from the Dark Mist clan grabbed him and communicated, "Don't go up, that's a Universe Knight. This is the area of the 5-colored Extreme Light Lake. Killing is forbidden here. What can he do to us?" Luo Feng's expression was ugly. He had never met such an arrogant and tyrannical person before. And there were rules that forbade killing. He didn't kill us. This is within reason. Qianyu from the Dark Mist clan said. These Universe Knights have lived here for who knows how many years. They're familiar with the rules. Look, his attacks didn't even damage the surrounding mountains. Even our bodies weren't destroyed. He's just humiliating you. What can you do? However, just as he communicated, Luo Feng had already rushed up. On the mountain peak, the majestic silhouette's single eye swept across the two that were slapped away. He laughed coldly and was shocked to see the human rushing up. What the hell, an Emperor-level undying dares to be arrogant. The majestic silhouette was immediately enraged. Just as he was about to slap Luo Feng away again, he suddenly froze. Because Luo Feng was holding the strongest fire god crystal in his hand. This crystal obviously didn't pose a threat to him. However, the moment his god energy attack caused it to explode, the human would be finished. That was equivalent to him killing the human, he would die too. Knight. Luo Feng held the fire god crystal and gently landed. Standing on the mountain peak, he looked at the foreign Universe Knight. Is bullying us Emperor-level undyings very satisfying? P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 971. Bei Shan the Knight had lived on Redbud Island for a very long time. He often came to the treasure trove. As for the weaker emperors, he was used to being high above them. Actually, in the entire Redbud Island, this was a very common situation. Universe Knights and Emperors couldn't get along equally. Universe Venerables with better tempers would slowly fly to a certain place, and the Regis and Undying of that place would naturally obediently give way. If they were tyrannical like Bei Shan the Knight, the emperors could only bear with it. This had already become a common thing. Bei Shan the Knight looked at the human emperor before him and sneered. Bully you? Ha ha ha, human, I don't like you humans, so what if I bully you? A mere emperor dares to be disrespectful to me. So what if I am disrespectful to you? Luo Feng held the fire god crystal and looked up at the knight. Silence reigned. That dark mist Qian Yu who was spitting out blood, as well as the other warriors on the nearby peaks and mountainsides all turned to look, all interested. Never seen him before. He's a newbie. Haha, look, another newbie is stupid. That's not strange, they think that with the protection of the ancestral god sect, the universe knights can't do anything to them. Plus, many of the newbies are geniuses from their own races, they won't be at a disadvantage. And that Bei Shan the Knight hates humans, he was so arrogant and directly suppressed them, it's normal for the newbies to retaliate. However, after suffering once, this newbie will know when to stop. Let's watch the show, let's see what happens to this newbie. This human is quite smart. He has the strongest fire god origin crystal in his hand. This has made Bei Shan fearful. Once he makes a move, he might be able to explode the fire god origin crystal and kill that human. Bei Shan will be buried with him. Among the surrounding foreign races, there were Emperor Undyings and a few universe knights. They all watched from afar. On the peak of the mountain, Luo Feng wiped his mouth and looked at the foreign race knight before him. You have guts. Bei Shan the knight looked down at Luo Feng. Even though he was angry, he was also interested, because it's been a long time since he met an Emperor Undying who dared to go against him. He immediately spoke. Human, do you know? I'm a universe knight? I know. Luo Feng looked at him. So what? Shouldn't you respect me? Venerable Bei Shan asked again. Why do the weak respect the strong? Luo Feng asked. Because the weak is worried that the strong will kill them. At the same time, it also shows respect for the strong for being able to reach that level. Obviously, I don't have the slightest bit of respect for you, a venerable of a foreign race. As for fear? Why should I be afraid of you within the range of the five-colored Aurora Lake? I'm not afraid of you, and I don't admire you, so why should I respect you? Venerable Bei Shan instantly let out a loud laughter that reverberated throughout the mountain peak, attracting the attention of many experts from afar. Yes, you are not afraid of me at the multicolored Aurora Lake. Bei Shan the Reverend looked at Luo Feng with a mocking gaze. Human, are you going to stay in the five-colored extreme light lake forever and not leave? I've seen you before, and I know your life aura. If I find you outside, you should know what will happen. Aren't you stupid to do this? Luo Feng inspected the Bei Shan Venerable in front of him. Just bear with it, don't fight with the Universe Knights. If you get bullied, just bear with it. Dark Fog Qian Yu communicated anxiously from afar. In this inheritance ground, the Universe Knights have long gotten used to being high above us. They were never on equal footing with us, and bullying us is a common occurrence. This Bei Shan Venerable has gone overboard this time, but we can only bear with it. Otherwise, it won't be a good thing to have a grudge with a knight. Qian Yu thanks, Luo Feng thought. Looking at the Bei Shan Venerable before him, Luo Feng wasn't afraid at all. Just a foreign race knight with such a small level of temperament, what was he? One must know that the high and mighty master of Sky Wolf had secretly spread the news of the Blade River King. The number of experts in the universe that wanted to kill him was simply uncountable. It was one thing for those pinnacle clans to put up a public bounty, but it was likely that even the universe lords of the foreign races would make a move in secret. Hence, Luo Feng was forced to hide in this inheritance ground. The few pinnacle races have already begun to make moves to assassinate me, and I still have to bear with a knight from who knows which race you are from? What's more, such a normal level knight, once I break through to Undying, just my golden horned beast's strength alone is 1,000 times that of the human emperor limit, and I can even wear the calamity armor. I'm afraid I won't have to care about these normal-level knights. Luo Feng couldn't be bothered with being bullied. Since the news of the Blade River Emperor had spread throughout the universe, since that automaton warrior Zhu Absolute Emperor recognized him, his identity wouldn't be able to be hidden for long in this inheritance ground. Since that's the case, why should he bear with it? The storm was coming. Then, it would be even more intense. Compared to the predatory gazes of the pinnacle races, this Bei Shan Venerable before him was nothing more than a drizzle. Yes, I've offended you. Doesn't that mean I have another universe knight as my enemy? That's not right. Luo Feng nodded, looking at the Bei Shan Venerable. This universe knight, I've already offended you. What do you think I should do? The Bei Shan Venerable was slightly shocked. This human's attitude was simply, haha, interesting. Bei Shan, you've kicked a metal plate this time. A roar suddenly resounded from the distant mountain peak. It was a foreign race knight that was entrenched in the mountain peak. That human newbie is ignoring you. He's not giving you any face. Come, kill him, raise your reputation. Immediately the distant mountain peak, beside the lake, 3 other universe knights laughed loudly, their voices resounding in the sky. As for the Emperor Undyings, they didn't dare shout so loudly, they all discussed softly. In the surroundings, including the universe supremacies, there were probably thousands of experts paying attention. Dark Miss Qianyu hid in the distance clutching her head. My God, this human has gone mad. He had occasionally seen stubborn newcomers in the treasure trove, but usually the newcomers would quickly lower their heads. But this time, he had thought that the stubborn newcomer would also lower his head. But now, it seemed that he was a little too arrogant. As there weren't many Emperor Undyings watching, within this short period of time, no one recognized Luo Feng's identity. They only felt that this human was indeed very arrogant. The Bei Shan Venerable heard the laughter of the other knights in the distance. His expression couldn't help but turn ugly. At their level of training, they valued their reputation even more. The Ancestral God sect had many universe supremacies from all over the universe. They were divided into factions and groups. For example, the Universe Supremacies of Humanity Alliance, Great Alliance, formed a group. The Universe Supremacies of 9 Regions Alliance formed a group. The ones who were laughing at him were the other factions. Humph. The Bei Shan Venerable stared coldly at Luo Feng, a formless pressure enveloping him. Luo Feng, however, treated this pressure like a breeze. You have guts. The Bei Shan Venerable's voice was cold. He gazed at Luo Feng. I've always hated you humans. Today, it's made me hate you even more. Now, obediently kneel down and apologize to me, and destroy 50% of your body. I'll treat it like nothing happened. Otherwise, Luo Feng looked at the Bei Shan Venerable before him. You want me to destroy 50% of my body and kneel down to apologize? You're really kind. If I don't do it, you'll find a chance to kill me outside? I'm so afraid. Luo Feng smiled and looked at him. Very afraid. When I'm afraid I'll hold a grudge, and when I hold a grudge I'll take revenge. If I'm not wrong, you should be from the Hammer God race, right? The killing aura around the Bei Shan Venerable was getting thicker. The dark mist race's Qian Yu, who was hiding far away, had a bitter expression. I'll just bear with it. This, the Bei Shan Venerable said solemnly. Human, I admire your guts. Remember, I'm the Bei Shan Venerable. If you have the ability, just keep hiding in the 5-color extreme light lake. Hide in the human's territory. Humph, Luo Feng sneered. Luo Feng's disdain wasn't without reason. If this Bei Shan Venerable knew he was the Blade River Emperor, then even if the Bei Shan Venerable wanted to kill him, the Bei Shan Venerable wouldn't dare. Because the small Hammer God race wouldn't be able to withstand the rage of a human, a super genius that was highly regarded by the human race. If he dared to make a move, not only him, the entire Hammer God race would be in trouble. Hence, when one's reputation reaches a certain level, when one's importance reaches a certain level, the only ones who would dare to make a move on Luo Feng would be the foreign races that were comparable to the Great Alliance. At the peak of the mountain, The Beishan Venerable and Luo Feng didn't lower their heads. Luo Feng was too lazy to lower his head. Beishan Venerable even more so couldn't lower his head. If they were in a stalemate, the Beishan Venerable wouldn't dare to make a move. Humph! The Beishan Venerable snorted softly, immediately flying away. Beishan! A majestic voice rumbled over. A snow-white silhouette suddenly appeared beside the mountain peak. Luo Feng looked. The newcomer was about 3 m tall. His body was almost like a block of ice. Within his body were many shattered crystals. His appearance was very similar to that of a human. His body too was dressed in a simple ice armor. His energy was majestic and strong. It seemed even stronger than the Beishan Venerable. Bug Emperor! The Beishan Venerable's expression sunk. Beishan! The ice-armored tall and sturdy man sneered. I know you hate humans, but this newcomer has just arrived. Is there a need for you to be so overboard? First you suppressed him, then you forced him to ignite his divine body. I want to tell you, it's fine if you bully us emperors, but don't go overboard. Luo Feng was shocked when he heard. He couldn't help but look at the ice-armored tall and sturdy man. Emperor? This ice-armored tall and sturdy man was an emperor? Qianyu, who is he? Luo Feng communicated to the distant Qianyu. Dark Miss Qianyu suddenly heard Luo Feng's message. She too was shocked, after which she replied, That's the Bug Emperor. He's one of the top 3 warriors of our Purple Thorn Island out of the 100 million Emperor inheritors. It's said that he's a unique life form in the universe. His true body's height is said to be over 60,000 kilometers. He's intentionally shrunk right now. Just his body alone at the pinnacle of Emperor level is 5,000 times stronger than ours. He's even stronger than many normal universe knights. And his talents and techniques are even more heaven-defying, plus the ancestral god sects focus on nurturing him, even giving him 2 treasures. Normal universe knights aren't his match. A unique life form in the universe? His true body's height is over 60,000 kilometers? 5,000 times? Luo Feng blinked as he looked at the Bug Emperor. P.S. The 2nd chapter has ended. Tomato will continue writing the 3rd. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 972. Unique. Luo Feng couldn't believe it. An incredibly rare unique life form actually appeared in front of him like this. Before this, he only knew of 2 unique life forms. One was a fallen beast god, a natural universe lord. The other was his teacher Mountain Passenger, one of the strongest warriors in the universe. Luo Feng subconsciously felt that a unique life form would definitely be extremely powerful. An undying level unique life form, ranked top 3 among the inheritors of Purple Thorn Island? Luo Feng was overjoyed within. Right, Purple Thorn Island gathers all the elites of the universe. Even my teacher True Yen Emperor rarely enters. How impressive would he be ranked top 3? Luo Feng no longer had any pride in his heart. Compared to this Bug Emperor, there was nothing to be proud of. Unique life forms, right? All sorts of powerful unique life forms. That guardian beast god said that the most unique life forms in the universe are gathered in the ancestral god's secret region. Luo Feng thought, maybe I can find a chance to confirm my 3rd body here. It will be extremely important to me in the future. I don't have to find the strongest, but I have to find the most suitable one for me. While Luo Feng was shocked by Bug Emperor and immediately thought of his 3rd body, Qianyu from the Dark Fog clan couldn't help but praise. Bug Emperor is also an emperor, we are too. However, the difference in strength is like heaven and earth. Just the foundation alone is 5,000 times stronger, even bigger than the universe knights and us. In addition to innate secret arts and supreme treasures, it is completely possible to jump levels to kill. It's said that the human race's Blade River King can kill Regis Immortals as a Sector Lord. This chasing insect king can kill ordinary universe paragons as an immortal. No wonder the ancestral god sect treats it as a treasure. Bug Emperor, don't be a busybody. Bei Shan Knight frowned and said solemnly. Bug Emperor's body suddenly enlarged, becoming the same size as Bei Shan Knight. He stared at Bei Shan. Firstly, I'm an emperor undying. Secondly, this newbie is a human. You should know that my best brother is a human too. How is it a busybody for me to interfere? Bei Shan Knight was about to speak. Bug Emperor continued, the knight's position is higher than the emperor undying. The emperor undying should respect the knight. It's a tradition that when they see a knight from afar, the emperor undying will automatically avoid him. However, if it's someone as arrogant as Bei Shan, forcing him to such an extent, who can you blame if he resists? This is the area of the 5-colored extreme light lake. Killing is forbidden here. Yet you still forced him to burn his own body. Humph. Bei Shan Knight snorted coldly and immediately became a beam of light that broke through the skies, not bothering with Luo Feng. After witnessing this scene, the insect monarch shrank his body to 3 meters. Human. Bug Emperor looked at Luo Feng. Bug Emperor. Luo Feng smiled. I wasn't able to help you much. If I had discovered this matter earlier, I would have been able to intervene and stop it earlier. Now that the two of you are fighting, I'm afraid that Venerable Bei Shan will really bear a grudge. You better be careful, said Insect King Zhu. Okay. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Insect King Zhuo was a little surprised. How could he not care even though he knew he was being targeted? Bug Emperor, that he Bug Emperor was a Lu, Xiao Luo Tian Clan, Lude Luo Dragon that T. That Luo of. Luo Feng watched as Bug Emperor left. At this time, Qian Yu from the Dark Mist Clan flew over. Qian Yu landed on the mountain peak and let out a sigh of relief, after which he smiled apologetically to Luo Feng. Don't blame me, I really didn't want to mess with that universe knight. However, this time, he went overboard. I was prepared to dodge and he sent me flying. Seriously, he was trying to show off his power. I don't blame you. Luo Feng smiled. Suddenly his ears twitched and he looked into the distance. There was a lot of discussion in the distance, as the clash between Bug Emperor and Bei Shan Knight had already attracted the attention of the surrounding tens of thousands of warriors. One had to know that the entire treasure trove was extremely huge. To be able to attract the attention of tens of thousands of warriors was already an exaggeration. There really aren't many who look up to me. Luo Feng laughed when he heard. It's normal if you think you're stupid. How many emperors and undyings dare to go against a universe knight? Our normal races, even the pinnacle bloodlines like the space beasts, are only 10 times stronger than the normal bloodlines. Hence the absolute geniuses of our trillions of races are usually only invincible emperors. It's very hard for them to go against a universe knight. To be able to go against a universe knight at the undying level, or even to suppress one, that's something only special life forms can do. And it has to be a very powerful special life form. Those special life forms that are only 100 times stronger aren't enough. Amongst the inheritors, there are only a few that are powerful. We have to bear with the rest. Qian Yu said helplessly. Otherwise, if we get targeted by a universe knight, it'll be very troublesome. Luo Feng listened to the discussion in the distance. He said, I'll go take a look at the other places. Haha, I know you can't stand those discussions here. I'll follow you. Qian Yu said. So. Luo Feng and Qian Yu immediately became 2 beams of light and flew into the distance. Tens of thousands of experts were scattered all over the surrounding mountains, mountainsides, lakeside, and lakes, discussing with each other in groups of 2s and 3s. Bug Emperor is really powerful, directly suppressing that Bei Shan Knight, causing him to not dare say anything more. Venerable Bei Shan is only at the 4th level of inheritance. In terms of divine power, he is far inferior to Insect King Chasing. Insect King Chasing's divine power is 5,000 times stronger than a normal king conferred limit. What makes Venerable Bei Shan even more helpless is that Insect King chasing has two supreme treasures. Haha, how can he fight? It's no wonder he doesn't dare. Bug Emperor has killed a Universe Knight before, and has a record of defeating 3 of them. How would Bei Shan Knight dare to provoke him? That's heavenly. No choice. 5,000 times stronger than a normal emperor, how can he compete? Bei Shan Knight has lost face this time. First, he met a dumb human newbie. Next, he was suppressed by Bug Emperor. There were also many universe venerables who rejoiced in his misfortune. Unlucky Bei Shan. Bei Shan has really lost face this time. Even though he's a bit tyrannical, it's no big deal. He just met a dumb human newbie. Who would have thought that human newbie would be so stubborn and not lower his head? This human newbie is indeed dumb. He couldn't hold it in for a while. Now, he's made a Universe Knight enemy. If he's weak, he has to hold it in. When Luo Feng and Qian Yu flew up from the mountain peak and into the distance, after flying a few tens of thousands of km, they were blocked by 3 silhouettes. Luo Feng looked at the 3 silhouettes before him. They should all be Emperor-level warriors. Human, are you the Blade River Emperor? The leader of the 3 silhouettes looked like an erect beetle. He stared at Luo Feng with his compound eyes and his voice was hoarse. Luo Feng was stunned. Blade River Emperor? Qian Yu too looked curiously and shocked at Luo Feng. Human, there's no need to hide it. According to my information, there's really no other Emperor-level warrior that matches you. Other than that mysterious Blade River Emperor. The voice of this beetle-like titled king was hoarse, but it was filled with confidence. At the same time, his eyes flashed with excitement. Saber River King, haha, I've long heard of your great name and know of your matters. Haha, to be able to see you makes me happy. That Bei Shan Knight has angered you. Haha, now that the automaton and demon race have announced your reward, the number of warriors who want to kill you is shocking. However, they all have to be careful. Who doesn't know that the human race's protection of you is very strong? That Bei Shan Knight still wants to deal with you, haha. Luo Feng frowned. South. He became a beam of light and flew away. Even though Qian Yu was curious, she followed. Blade River Emperor, Blade River Emperor. That erect beetle knight shouted loudly, his voice rumbling throughout the land and skies. Blade River Emperor? What Blade River Emperor? Of course it's the human race's most unbelievable absolute genius Blade River Emperor. Where is he? Where is he? It's that human, the one who battled with Bei Shan Knight earlier. He's the Blade River Emperor. I've been staring at him and thinking, just who is he? Our 9 Regions Alliance's information is very detailed. To be able to obtain the inheritance token, he should be the most outstanding genius of the human race. Logically, it should be easy to find information about him. However, I just couldn't find anything. I understand now, it's definitely the Blade River Emperor. Everyone said he used the Beast God path to battle with the Black Razor Emperor. It's definitely him. That human newbie is the Blade River Emperor. The warriors from the various peaks who were originally laughing and joking around immediately exploded. He's the Blade River Emperor. Unless the human race suddenly produces another absolute genius. The chances of 2 geniuses appearing at the same time is too low. The chances of him being the Blade River Emperor is over 99.1%. Ju Absolute Emperor said to his friends. His friends couldn't help but exclaim. It's actually the Blade River Emperor. A sector lord came to this inheritance ground. So powerful! He didn't even lower his head against a Universe Knight. That arrogance! Such an absolute being, how can he not be arrogant? To be able to kill an emperor at the limit of a sector lord, that's unbelievable. And he's just a human. Humans aren't special life forms. For such a genius to appear in the human race, the absolute beings of the human race have long treated him as a treasure. The demon race, automaton race and bug race all want to kill him. Haha, no wonder they don't care about the Beishan Knight. Compared to the demon race, automaton race and bug race, he's nothing. It's unbelievable. It's actually the Blade River Emperor. The Blade River Emperor appeared in the treasure ground and battled with the Beishan Knight. This explosive news spread extremely quickly. These foreign race warriors from various parts of the universe all knew of the Blade River Emperor. Very few who didn't care about the outside world heard their friends and were all shocked with their jaws wide open. To be able to kill an emperor at the limit of a sector lord. Once he becomes an undying emperor, wouldn't he have to kill a universe knight? Did I hear wrongly? Aren't you guys talking about the universe's rare special life forms? And humans? He wasn't a special life form, and yet he was able to do that. This was the reason why the Blade River Emperor was so famous. This was also the reason why the bug race, demon race and automaton race wanted to kill Luo Feng. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Requesting monthly votes, recommendation votes. If you have votes, support tomato. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 973. Luo Feng and Dark Mist Qian Yu became beams of light and swiftly flew away. The entire treasure trove was extremely vast. Some of the large lakes in the mountain ranges were over 1,000,000 km in size. From this, one could see just how vast the treasure trove was. How long are we going to fly for? Let's teleport. Dark Mist Qian Yu said. All right. Luo Feng replied. The Masha clansmen formed a metal piece between the Cloud Contact Armor and Cloud Contact Armor. After which, the two of them teleported simultaneously. Dark Mist Qian Yu teleported first and Luo Feng sensed his location before teleporting. Even though normal long-distance teleportation, it was very hard to sense the exact location. However, Luo Feng and Qian Yu didn't teleport too far. In the depths of a desolate mountain range, Luo Feng and Qian Yu of the Dark Mist clan appeared simultaneously. Qian Yu looked below and pointed at the distant call. Let's go to the call in that canyon. I think there are a lot of people looking for you right now. In this desolate place, it'll be more peaceful for now. Luo Feng smiled and nodded before diving down with Qian Yu of the Dark Mist clan, flying deep into the valley. There was a mountain stream within the valley, the water was flowing. Luo Feng and Qian Yu landed beside the stream. Hua, are you really the Blade River Emperor? Qian Yu looked at Luo Feng and couldn't help but ask. Luo Feng looked at him. You want to know? That's not what I meant. Qian Yu said, I don't have any intentions of investigating you. Only, I'm very curious. The fame of the Blade River King is truly great. Being able to kill a peak stage conferred monarch with the body of a world overlord, this is simply something that only a unique life form like the insect monarch can do. I believe there are many people in the universe who are curious about you. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Just treat me as the Blade River Emperor. You're not? Qian Yu was stunned. Don't tell me, Qian Yu's eyes gleamed, shocked. Don't tell me you're a fake created by the human race to intentionally mislead the other races who want to kill the Blade River Emperor? Powerful, truly powerful. This move is vicious. This way, no matter how much effort they expended, it would all be a waste. Moreover, they would be able to protect the real Blade River King. Moreover, with your abilities, the clan would definitely be able to reverse time and space to revive you. This Qian Yu's imagination is quite good. Luo Feng thought. Dark Mist Qian Yu saw that Luo Feng didn't speak and said, Relax, I won't tell anyone. Sigh, you wouldn't intentionally mislead me, right? Who knows, you might be the true Blade River Emperor. You're deliberately trying to mislead me. You can think however you want. Luo Feng smiled. Call me Hua, you can call me Blade River Emperor, I'll accept it too. You, Qian Yu of the Dark Mist race felt helpless. Let's not talk about that. I came here because I'm very curious about the treasures. Luo Feng turned his head and looked towards the colonel. The scenery in the call was quite beautiful. In the distance, the canyon walls were very steep and dangerous. The large amounts of plants on the walls were also very strange. There were strange rocks and creeks everywhere. Luo Feng observed for a while. Where are the treasures? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. I've been here for so long, but I haven't seen any. There are treasures everywhere. Dark Mist Qianyu teased. Of course you won't be able to see them. What do you mean? Luo Feng asked. Newbie, you really don't know anything. You've entered the glory world and met up with our friends from the Great Alliance. We'll chat more and naturally you'll know more. Let me tell you some general knowledge. Dark Mist Qianyu pointed around. The absolute warriors of the ancestral god sect can all leave treasures and hide them in certain places. After they're hidden, they'll set a condition. As long as a warrior meets the condition, the treasure will automatically open up when they reach the place. Automatically open? Luo Feng was curious. The treasures are dead objects. How would they know if we meet the condition? You don't understand. Dark Mist Qianyu pointed into the sky. The entire area of the five-color lake is under the control of the ancestral god sect. As long as you're in this area, whatever you do, the ancestral god sect's secret control system will know. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Right, he knew everything that happened in the Star Tower. Where the warriors were, what they did, everything was detailed. The five-color lake was probably the same. What level is your beast god inheritance at? Your god energy level? Your soul amplifier and body amplifier, you'll naturally reveal them in the glory world, and the glory world's control system should be connected to the entire five-color lake's control system. Dark Mist Qianyu said, anyway, this control system will collect all your information. The moment you meet the condition to open a treasure, as long as you arrive at the location, the treasure will automatically open. Hence, there are two main ways to obtain the treasure. 1. You have to meet the condition. 2. You have to arrive at the treasure. Qianyu of the Dark Mist race laughed. So, you have to reveal as much of your special abilities as possible. Show them in the glory world or in your own mansion. Even though the mansion is your territory, the control system will still know everything you're doing. Remember, you have to reveal your strength. Otherwise, the control system won't be able to collect any information. Dark Mist Qianyu said. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. It was the same for him in the Star Tower. He could have a pair of eyes staring at the warriors in the tower at all times, but that was the most he could do. He had no way to search the souls of the other races, no way to find out the secrets within their bodies. He could only gather information from the surface. For example, if your Blade River Emperor is really a Sector Lord, you can temporarily reveal your Sector Lord identity in your mansion or in your territory. Qianyu of the Dark Mist race said, there are very, very few inheritors who have come here who are realm lords. I'm afraid there have been less than 10 since the birth of the universe. Every single realm lord who comes here is a heaven-defying monster with the power of a king. This is what makes you different from the others. Who knows, there might be a treasure that's specially set up to be opened by a Sector Lord. Ha! Luo Feng laughed. He had many thoughts after listening to Qianyu's description. When I'm in the glory world, I'll gather some information. Newbies know so little. Luo Feng thought. When Luo Feng and Qianyu of the Dark Mist clan were hiding at the edge of the treasure trove, within a remote valley, the entire treasure trove was bustling with activity. The news of the Blade River Emperor appearing in the treasure trove and Bei Shan Knight's battle spread like wildfire. Especially through the virtual world glory world. Initially, there were only tens of thousands of warriors watching. However, from 1 to 10, from 10 to 100, after a while, tens of millions of inheritors knew about it. There were still a few warriors that didn't know because they had shut off the information and were training hard. So, Silhouettes appeared one after another from the teleportation pathway. Where's Blade River Emperor? Where's the human Blade River Emperor? The warriors that had just arrived at the treasure land all wanted to meet the Blade River Emperor, whose name was known throughout the trillions of races in the universe. He slipped away. This Blade River Emperor and the Dark Mist race's Qian Yu Emperor slipped away together. Are you sure you didn't make a mistake? That human is really the Blade River Emperor? Right, definitely right. Many of the races have confirmed that he's the Blade River Emperor. The human race only has one race, and there are only so many Emperor-level warriors, and Genius Emperor-level warriors are even rarer. To produce one Blade River Emperor is already incredible. Don't tell me there's another hidden and powerful Emperor-level warrior? Thinking about it, it was obvious that the probability was shockingly low. Coincidentally, the Saber River King also cultivated the beast god Tao. Could it be that these two peerless geniuses both had hidden identities, rose up in the same era, and both cultivated the beast god Tao? Ha ha ha, only an idiot would believe that. That's definitely the Blade River Emperor. Yes, that makes sense. Let's hurry up and meet this Blade River King. It's said that the demon race, machine race, and insect race all offer a shocking bounty, especially the demon race. They even took out a supreme treasure. Although it barely reaches the threshold of a supreme treasure and is useless to those high and mighty masters of the universe, it is enough to make the universe venerables go crazy. Even though the treasure land was vast and vast, there were after all too many warriors. Not long after, Luo Feng and Qian Yu Emperor were discovered. Look, that's not Qian Yu Emperor. Right, it's him. That black-armored human beside him is definitely the Blade River Emperor. The Blade River Emperor is a sector lord? But why can't I tell? Everyone says the Blade River Emperor has a treasure, hiding his sector lord energy. Three silhouettes fiercely swooped down, rushing straight into the valley. Luo Feng and Dark Mist Qian Yu looked up, seeing the three silhouettes almost instantly before them. I was still discovered. Luo Feng shook his head. He originally wanted to explore this place with countless treasures hidden, but now it seems like he couldn't. Blade River Emperor. Blade River Emperor. The three silhouettes were all about 1.6 tall, their waists and backs were extremely broad, their muscles extremely developed, almost like they were carrying shields. They too had 6 thick arms and 6 eyes, all staring curiously at Luo Feng. Almost as though they wanted to see just how mysterious this sector lord-level human who could kill an emperor-level warrior was. Are you Blade River King? Suddenly, one of the experts wearing dark green armor asked. Of course he is. He definitely is. The other two replied immediately. Luo Feng laughed at the situation. 3 Tappy race warriors, what business do you have with Blade River Emperor? Don't deny it. It's impossible for 2 peerless geniuses to appear in the human race at the same time. Moreover, both of them are geniuses who have been hiding, and both of them cultivate the path of the beast god, said the expert from the Tappy tribe who was clad in dark purple armor. Blade River Emperor. The dark green armored Tappy race warrior stared at Luo Feng. I've heard of your legends, however, I don't believe it. Your human race's life and genes have always been normal, not even special life forms. No matter how high your origin law comprehension is, no matter how powerful your techniques are, if your body and soul aren't strong enough, you're definitely not a match for an emperor-level warrior, much less kill one. Legends say you're a sector lord. I don't believe it. I'm afraid this is a rumor spread by you humans. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 974. The dark green armored Tappy Undying 6 Eyes observed Luo Feng, after which he sneered. A sector lord killing an emperor-level warrior, is that something you humans can do? You suspect the Blade River Emperor isn't a sector lord? Luo Feng asked. Then why did the demon, bug and automaton race believe him so easily, even going so far as to publicly place a bounty on him? Do they really believe him so easily, even willing to take out treasures for the bounty? Who knows, it's probably because you humans are too good at deceiving. Right, you are the pinnacle races, what can't you do? The leading Tappy Undying looked at Luo Feng. Actually, you don't have to say much. As long as you reveal your Sector Lord energy, then we will truly believe you. We will even apologize to you and express our respect for you. The three Tappy Undying looked at Luo Feng, almost as though waiting for him to reveal his Sector Lord energy. Qianyu, I'll return first. Luo Feng turned and said to the dark mist Qianyu beside him. The other warriors will probably find this place soon. Qianyu nodded. Human. Human. Two of the three Tappy Undying immediately shouted. You three. Luo Feng glanced at the three, revealing a mocking smile. You guys are really stupid, I didn't deny it, but neither did I admit that I'm the Blade River Emperor. What's more, it's none of my business whether you believe me or not. So, Luo Feng's body flashed, and he immediately vanished. You! The three Tappy Undying wanted to curse, however Luo Feng had long left. Humph! Dark Miss Qianyu too sneered, glancing at the three Tappy Undyings and vanishing too. This Qianyu Emperor is too arrogant with us. The three Tappy warriors gritted their teeth. The dark green armored Tappy Undying looked at the other two beside him. That Blade River Emperor is really careful. He hasn't denied it or admitted it. He seems to be even more disdainful about revealing his Sector Lord energy. Looks like we've failed to confirm his identity. Report to the higher-ups. The three Tappy warriors broke through space and left. Within the treasure trove, on the mountain peak with the pathway, Luo Feng had just teleported there, attracting the attention of the distant foreign race warriors in mid-air. It's a human. Look, it's the Blade River Emperor. He is the Blade River King? Immediately, there were foreign race experts flying over, some shouting, Saber River King, wait. There were also some shouting, human. However, Luo Feng just stepped into the teleportation pathway and vanished, causing many warriors to shake their heads helplessly. After returning to Circe's Island, Luo Feng quickly teleported back to his mansion and closed the door. I didn't expect to be suspected so soon. Luo Feng arrived at the second floor of the first building. There was a praying mat on the ground, but it was empty all around, allowing him to look down at the garden, pond, and pavilion. Luo Feng sat cross-legged, gazing below. Being suspected isn't out of my expectations. Two hidden absolute geniuses from the same generation, and both train in the beast god path. The chances are indeed too low. Even I don't believe it, much less the other races. Luo Feng said softly, after which he flipped his hand and the quantum computer appeared. This was the sensor receiver of the virtual world Glory. Let's see the difference between this Glory world and our human virtual universe. Luo Feng thought. His consciousness passed through the sensor receiver and quickly connected to the virtual world of Glory. Glory world, at the edge of the plaza, a silhouette appeared out of thin air. In his hands was a black book. Luo Feng looked at the black book in his hands, laughing to himself. This is interesting. The virtual universe relies on the virtual assistant to realize many functions. This Glory world, however, relies on this book. Luo Feng flipped open the black book. The first page only had the word name, the rest was empty. The words were in human common language. Please fill in your name in the Glory world. As Luo Feng flipped to the first page, a voice resounded in his mind. Name. Luo Feng hesitated for a moment before replying, Saber River. Since countless warriors thought he was the Saber River King, then he would use this name. Whether it was real or fake, it didn't matter. Luo Feng flipped to the second page. The second page was a map of the Glory world. Simultaneously a voice resounded in his mind. The Glory world is split into two spaces. One is the Plaza of Glory, the other is the Battle world. As long as one is within the Ancestor God's secret area, they can connect to the Glory world. My God, so small? Luo Feng muttered. There are so few functions. Luo Feng thought. There was no way to compare. Compared to the virtual universe, if the virtual universe was a skyscraper, then the glory world would be a small hut. The area covered was only the ancestor god's secret area, and the glory world only had two places, the plaza and the battle world. There weren't even many places to stay or shop, and the human virtual universe was much more flourishing, with countless spaces. The functions were incomparably flourishing. As long as you couldn't think of it, there was nothing the virtual universe didn't have. Glory World Rankings. Glory Points. Glory points can be used to exchange for inheritances. Luo Feng flipped through it briefly, understanding a little. If he wanted to obtain additional inheritances, he would have to come to the Glory World. The Glory World rankings were split into 7 rankings. They corresponded to the first level rankings, the second level rankings, the 7th level rankings. The inheritors of different levels were naturally placed into different rankings. They were ranked according to the number of wins and losses. As for Luo Feng, he was currently at the bottom of the 3rd level rankings. 0 wins and 0 losses. Of course there were even worse than Luo Feng, like 0 wins and 1 losses, 0 wins and 2 losses, etc. The functions are rather simple. Luo Feng thought, the ancestor god sect, creating such a simple virtual world, it's just a place for us to gather. Plaza? Luo Feng looked over. This plaza was actually an outdoor bar. All sorts of fine wine and delicacies were displayed in the center, allowing the inheritors to use them however they wanted. The entire plaza was filled with a dense cluster of chairs, scattered everywhere. Luo Feng looked over and saw tens of millions of inheritors. Look, it's the Blade River Emperor. It's the Blade River Emperor. Immediately the inheritors all noticed Luo Feng, however no one walked over. Luo Feng looked over and realized, these inheritors obviously all had their own groups. There were hundreds or even thousands of them gathered together. Each group was clearly separated. Between different groups, Luo Feng could feel the tension between them. Where there are strong warriors, there will be fights. What's more, countless warriors and geniuses from the entire universe are gathered here. Luo Feng thought. Blade River Emperor. Blade River Emperor. A figure flew over at lightning speed and hurriedly sent a voice transmission to him. Luo Feng looked over. It was actually a human, immediately revealing a smile. Emperor Chimen. Emperor Chimen was a very low-profile emperor within the human race. Even though his strength wasn't considered invincible, comparable to a normal universe knight, he was extremely close. Back then Emperor Chimen's talent was incomparably dazzling. His rise was swift. He was valued and nurtured by the human race. However, Emperor Chimen was stuck at the last step, unable to break through to Universe Knight. This had lasted for countless years, causing Emperor Chimen to lose his arrogance from back then, becoming much more low profile. Many absolute geniuses had such a fate. How many could become a universe venerable? Just like the Seven-Blade Emperor, who dared say he would definitely become a universe knight. Let's go, our great alliance is over there. These are all from the other alliances. Emperor Chimen brought Luo Feng along and communicated. The race has given me an order. The moment your identity is suspected, they are to call you Blade River Emperor. That shouldn't affect you, right? If you don't call me Blade River Emperor, the other races will suspect. They will suspect you calling me that too. Whether it's real or fake, it's fine. Luo Feng smiled. Emperor Chimen nodded, simultaneously saying, these inheritors are mainly formed according to the various large organizations in the universe. After all the members of the enemy organizations, naturally they won't be in the same group. Our great alliance is all gathered together. Looks like there are quite a lot of groups. Luo Feng looked over. The plaza was indeed clearly divided, hundreds to thousands of warriors gathered. In groups, occasionally there would be over 10,000 warriors gathered. These were probably the huge powers of the universe. What's that group? There are so many warriors. Luo Feng looked into the distance. There were at least hundreds of thousands of warriors gathered there. That's the Snow Border Alliance, Emperor Chaman said. Even though their strength can't compare to our Great Alliance, the Snow Border Alliance is the alliance with the most races in the universe. They have many undyings, many emperors too, even though they are all weak and normal races, with very few strong races within. They can't make up for the numbers. You should know too, the ancestral god sects inheritance orders are scattered throughout the universe. It doesn't matter if your race is strong or weak. After a while, they arrived at a corner of the plaza. That's where we are. Emperor Chaman smiled. Luo Feng looked ahead, with a glance. There were only about 1,000 warriors. Looking at their appearances and special features, they were indeed the common races of the Great Alliance. Only 1,000? Luo Feng exclaimed within. We are elites. Emperor Chaman laughed. Yes, we are elites, we won't compete with them in numbers. Luo Feng laughed too, following which he and Emperor Chaman headed towards the Great Alliance inheritors. Within the demon territory, in the silent space, flames the size of stars were scattered everywhere, enveloping the entire space. In the center was the majestic Sky Wolf Palace. A huge two-headed snake silhouette lay before Sky Wolf Palace, its voice resounding throughout the space. Sky Wolf Leader, the ancestral god sect's demon inheritors have sent news. In the ancestral god sect's treasure trove, they've discovered traces of a human suspected to be the Blade River Emperor. There's a high chance he's the Blade River Emperor. The Lord of the Heavenly Wolf tribe was the highest person in charge of the demon race's bounty on the Blade River King. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 975. A celestial wolf figure bathed in flames slowly walked out of the celestial wolf hall. Detailed information. Lord Skywolf looked down at the huge snake that was crawling on the ground. The detailed information is currently being summarized urgently. This subordinate has come to report in advance. In a moment, the information will be sent to the master of the Heavenly Wolf clan. The huge snake shadow hissed as it crawled in the void in front of the Heavenly Wolf Hall. Go! Grandmaster Skywolf instructed. Yes. The gigantic snake immediately flew out of the spacetime controlled by the Heavenly Wolf Hall respectfully before teleporting away. The Heavenly Wolf Lord stood silently in front of the Heavenly Wolf Palace. Moments later, information was transmitted to him through the virtual realm. Although the communication system of the demonic race was far inferior to that of the humans and the machinery race, they were still one of the peak races. Through plundering and many other methods, they had set up the most basic communication system. Existences like the Lord of the Universe could easily receive information from hundreds of millions of light-years away, even without the virtual realm. Buzz! A 3D projection appeared in space. The leader of Skywolf watched from afar. The 3D projection showed the scene of Luo Feng and Bei Shan the Reverend confronting each other at the treasure ground. It's him. From the look in his eyes, it's him. The Sky Wolf leader muttered to himself. He had personally seen Luo Feng before. Maybe the absolute beings of the other races would still have their suspicions after receiving the information, but the Sky Wolf leader was able to discern the truth with just one look. What kind of ability was he? His eyes were like the window to the soul. Just looking at Luo Feng's eyes, the Sky Wolf leader was able to discern. He actually went to the Ancestor God sect. How shrewd. It's just that the human race didn't shelter him within their race. Since he's in the Ancestor God sect, he'll definitely be there for a long time. The insect race and the machine race have probably gotten the information as well. Maybe they will make the first move. Killing this Saber River King in the Ancestor God sect's territory is not a small price. Let them make the first move. The Celestial Wolf Lord's jade-green eyes flashed with a cold light as he pondered how to deal with this future pillar of humanity. The Sky Wolf leader had personally seen Luo Feng. He was very sure that the genius human had a 100% chance of entering the undying realm. As for becoming a universe venerable, that was a huge hurdle. No matter who it was, breaking through from undying to supremacy was a huge hurdle. For instance, True Yen had been stuck at the final step for countless years. King Chapman, for example, had been a peerless genius comparable to the Seven Sword Kings back then, but in the end, he had been tormented by that step for 1,000,000,000,000 years and had become low-key. Like the Chasing Bug King, he was a unique life form in the universe. He was tyrannical and incomparably strong. In terms of combat power, he could suppress a portion of the universe supremacies at the immortal realm. He was even favored by the ancestral god sect. Of course, the ancestor god sect focused on nurturing it, but unfortunately it was still stuck at that step. Even the number one force in the ancestral god sect was unable to help it break through. Mountain-sitting guest once said that precious resources were very helpful in breaking through to the paragon level. However, the price was too high, and the success rate was not 100%. The Blade River King was dazzling. But compared to the insect monarch, a unique life form in the universe, it was still somewhat inferior. For a realm lord to kill a peak-conferred king, he must have many secrets. If he becomes a universe lord and reaches a higher level of universe lord, he'll probably have the battle prowess of a universe lord. Who knows, he might become another Sky Sure Palace lord. He might even be stronger than the Sky Sure Palace lord, Lord Skywolf thought to himself. He's even more threatening than a universe lord. To the opposing races, a universe supremacy with universe lord strength was indeed more of a threat than a true universe lord. Because, if a universe lord died, no one could revive. But if a universe supremacy died, even someone as strong as the Tian Sure Palace Master and the Primal Chaos City Master might not have the ability to reverse spacetime and revive, but one of the strongest in the universe, the Creator Axe, could definitely revive. A super existence that wasn't afraid of death and could revive, how big of a threat was that? From undying to universe supremacy is a hurdle. If this Blade River King can't break through, and the humans insist on helping him, they will have to pay a huge price. The humans might not be able to bear it, and even if they were willing, they might not be able to guarantee success. The Sky Wolf Lord viewed the Blade River King with great importance, but he was still far from being a threat. Let's wait and see if the Bug Race and Automaton Race make the first move. ************** The Bug Race and Automaton Race received the news on the same day. The 4 of the 6 pinnacle races, the humans, automaton, bug and demon, were all very close to each other, hence their battles were extremely intense. With a terrifying genius emerging from the enemy race, naturally they would want to destroy him as soon as possible. The demon race and bug race will probably make the first move, there's no rush. The automaton race's thoughts. The humans definitely have a way to protect the Blade River King. We have to plan carefully. The bug race's thoughts. Only these 3 pinnacle races were the most anxious, the other powers in the universe that were on par with the Great Alliance were all watching. As for the weaker powers like the 9 Domains Alliance, they were all happy to watch the 4 pinnacle races fight to the death. Glory World, in the open plaza. Luo Feng and the Great Alliance's inheritors were gathered together, very quickly making friends with many strong warriors. Our Great Alliance has so few inheritors. Luo Feng couldn't help but say. Very few. The human Li Shua King, who was sitting by the side, nodded. However, only a portion of them are gathered at the outdoor plaza, about a quarter of the total number. We humans have very few of them. The main reason is that the ancestral god sect treats the countless races with equal treatment. They distribute them according to the territory, number of undying, etc. Hence, we humans are at a disadvantage. And the Great Alliance mainly absorbs the elites. Other than the vassal races, there are also the stronger races. Luo Feng nodded. Within the Great Alliance there were indeed a few strong races, they all had universe lords within them. Our Great Alliance doesn't have many races, hence the number of inheritors is relatively low. Li Shua Emperor said. The beast god inheritance is only one of the paths to becoming a strong warrior. Emperor Chimin shook his head. Within the ancestral god sect, we humans are weaker, that only means our beast god inheritance is weaker. Li Shua Emperor, Emperor Chimin were both humans. Back then they had limitless glory, now they weren't as sharp as before. The most infuriating thing is, it's too hard for us to earn enough glory points. Emperor Chimin shook his head hatefully, because we humans have the virtual universe, we are the envy of countless races in the universe. Especially in the glory world, many of the other races don't even challenge us, we challenge them, they don't accept, not battling, naturally we can't earn glory points, without enough glory points we can't exchange for the inheritance. Li Shua Emperor raised his wine glass. We can only challenge within the Great Alliance, however the number of inheritors of the same level are few, plus we know each other's strengths, we know we are weaker, naturally we don't accept the challenge. Challenge? Luo Feng nodded. He had read the Black Book before, he knew the rules, the glory world was split into the open plaza and the battle world. In the battle world, one could earn glory points, but at the same time, they could lose. Every newbie had 3 glory points, the minimum bet for every battle was 1 glory point. One had to first send out a challenge, for example, if the opponent agreed, only then would the battle begin. After battle, the accumulated glory points would reach 100, every 100 glory points could be exchanged for 1 inheritance chance. If there are no other races, they won't accept the challenge. To accumulate 100 glory points, how hard is that? Even if there are occasionally challenges, they are all extremely strong, we'd be stupid to accept them, at least with similar strength, we'd only accept them. Emperor Chimin shook his head and sighed. Difficult, earning glory points is too difficult. Emperor Li Shua said. Beside, Emperor Qinyu laughed. I'm still alright, unlike you humans who are isolated due to jealousy, I still have many battles. However, only by winning can I earn glory points, losing is just a loss. When we first arrive, we only have 3 glory points, the moment we lose them all, then we'll have to wait an era for a new glory point to be born, after that we can continue the battle, if we lose again, we'll still have to wait an era for a new glory point to be born. If we lose it all 3 times, then the 4th time, we'll need 10,000 eras to get 1 more glory point. If we lose it all 3 times, then the 7th time, we'll need 100 million eras to get 1 more glory point. That's why everyone is very careful. When you're in a battle, you'll only be willing to bet big if you're confident of winning. However, your opponent knows that you're strong, so they won't just nod their heads like idiots. That's why most battle bets are 1 glory point. Only in rare cases will there be slightly larger bet. How hard is it to accumulate 100 glory points? Emperor Qinyu shook his head and sighed. Even though there are many inheritors, besides the free inheritance, to use glory points to exchange for the beast god inheritance is too difficult. Don't be too happy, there are still other races that have challenged you. Emperor Chimin said. There aren't many challenges, most of them are stronger than me. Emperor Qinyu said helplessly. Luo Feng listened beside, immediately feeling that it was rather difficult to exchange for glory points. At this time, in the distance, the inheritors of the other races were scattered, however many of them noticed the Blade River Emperor. Glory World's Black Book, there's a new person amongst the 3 inheritors, the Black Book records the time he first entered Glory World. He's called Blade River, there's even a note saying it's human, it's definitely that Blade River Emperor. First time entering Glory World, right, a new person. The different races all looked over from afar. He's just a realm lord. It's impossible for him to kill a peak stage Regis just by relying on his comprehension of the laws and secret arts. He must have some sort of treasure or some other miraculous encounters. In the glory world, everyone uses the same divine body strength. Even Insect King Chasing uses the same divine body as us. He doesn't have any innate talents or secret arts, and he has to use the weapons set by the glory world. Even precious treasures are not allowed. Even that Bug Emperor in Glory World has been defeated by many strong warriors. This Blade River Emperor, a 3 inheritor. Challenge! Haha, I'll challenge too, to bully the legendary Blade River Emperor. It'll be very interesting. I want to properly trample on this Blade River Emperor. Let's see how much pain this human absolute genius will suffer. From the trillions of races in the universe, countless absolute geniuses and inheritors from different powers very quickly began to challenge Blade River. Luo Feng was currently chatting with Emperor Qianyu, Emperor Chemin, and Emperor Li Shu. Wait. Luo Feng felt the floating black book beside him slightly tremble. He immediately flipped it open. HM? Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. In the challenge letter column, the number behind it was 10,232, and it was still rising. 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 20,000. The numbers were rising very quickly. P.S. Second chapter has arrived. Continue writing the third. Not finished yet. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 976. Luo Feng had just heard Emperor Chemin and Li Shua talk about how difficult it was to receive a challenge. However, in a blink of an eye, the number he received was simply soaring. In a blink of an eye, the number had jumped by a few hundred. With just a few seconds of flipping through the black book, it had already exceeded 30,000. I just entered Glory World and flipped through the black book. The challenge letters were still blank. This is too fast. Luo Feng was overwhelmed by the numbers. When Luo Feng first entered Glory World and gave himself a name, only then did Glory World truly have the identity of Blade River. Before this, even if the other races wanted to challenge the Blade River Emperor, they couldn't find a target. Now that Luo Feng had appeared in the plaza of Glory World, the news spread like wildfire. Almost everyone knew. There were naturally many who wanted to spar with the legendary absolute genius Blade River Emperor, and Luo Feng was a third-level beast god inheritor, and amongst the inheritors, there were obviously the most at the third level. There were a total of over 100 million inheritors, amongst which the Universe Knights were extremely rare. The number of Emperor-level undying inheritors still numbered in the hundreds of millions. The absolute geniuses that had trained for trillions of years, almost all of them had reached the third level. Many of them had already reached the peak of the third level and were beginning to comprehend the fourth level. For example, True Yen was a fourth-level inheritor. Hence, the third-level inheritors were the most. Next were the fourth-level inheritors. Then the second-level inheritors. Fifth-level inheritors. Sixth-level inheritors. Seventh-level inheritors. First-level inheritors. The seventh-level inheritors represented the level of the Tianshi Palace leader, incomparably close to the guardian beast god level. Their numbers were extremely few, only a few tens. As for the first inheritors, they had the least number of inheritors, 0. Even those that had just arrived usually had some foundation. There wasn't a single first level. Changyu Emperor, Li Shua Emperor, and Chemin Emperor all noticed Luo Feng staring at the black book. "What are you looking at?" Changyu Emperor shouted. "Who?" Luo Feng looked at his 3 good friends from the Great Alliance. With so many other races challenging him, news would spread quickly. There was no need to hide it. He said softly, "I've received many challenge letters." "Many?" Li Shua Emperor, Chemin Emperor, and Changyu Emperor were stunned. "How many? 100? He hurriedly shook his head. "Dao He, your fame is simply too great. You are able to kill peak-level king-ranked existences as a world overlord, and your inheritors are from the millions and millions of races in the universe. All of them are absolute geniuses. If they don't truly fight against you, many of them wouldn't be convinced. In fact, they would even want to use this opportunity to trample on you. And there will definitely be many battle invitations. You have just entered the glory world, and you will most probably receive over 1,000. Emperor Chemin and Thousand Rain Emperor looked at Luo Feng. More than 50,000, Luo Feng said in a low voice. At the same time, he had already blocked off the surrounding area. Sounds from the outside could enter, but not from the inside. 50,000? King Shua's eyes widened. 50,000. King Chapman's expression was very complicated. He had been on Circe's Island for a very long time, but he had fought less than 1,000 battles. So many it's only been a while. Thousand Rain King was also stunned. Looks like King Chapman was a little disappointed. I underestimated the determination of those despicable foreign races to fight you. Your fame is simply too great, and you are only a sector lord. In the glory world, there are many treasures and treasures in the outside world. When the time comes, you will be at a disadvantage. Firstly, they want to fight you, the absolute genius of the trillions of races in the universe. Secondly, they want to bully you. Thirdly, they think they are stronger than you. Luo Feng looked at the black book. The battle invitations had already exceeded 60,000. There seemed to be many foreign races wanting to fight him. Dao He, you are a third-level inheritor, Thousand Rain Emperor said. And in the entire inheritance grounds, the third and fourth level inheritors add up to more than 99% of the inheritors, of which the third level inheritors have the most, over 90 million. Even if only 1% of them challenge you, there will be 900,000 invitations. Luo Feng nodded. However, you have to be careful, don't accept them easily. Queen Qianyu immediately said solemnly, in the battle in the glory world, all the inheritors will use the same god body, a god body with 100,000 times the strength of the sector lord. They can choose their looks and build, but their strength is the same. Their weapons have to be chosen in the glory world too. They are all normal weapons, hence, the external conditions are the same for all the inheritors. Your treasures and treasures from the outside world, along with some special techniques from your fortuitous encounters, they will all disappear. Even during battle, you can only use the fusion laws. Thousand Rain Emperor said. In the battle world of the glory world, if you use other laws, they will be useless. You have to use the fusion laws to produce power. Luo Feng listened carefully. Just like Bug Emperor, he is a unique life form in the universe. However, in the battle world of the glory world, he doesn't have that heaven-defying god body, no terrifying talents and techniques, no treasures etc., hence he becomes normal. Back then he was only above average amongst the third-level inheritors. By the time he became a fourth-level inheritor, he would be below average. Thousand Rain Emperor said. Right. Emperor Chemin creased his eyebrows. And a sector lord's consciousness is much weaker than an undying's. You will be at a disadvantage. Blade River Emperor. Li Shua Emperor said. The other races are all absolute geniuses from the various races of the universe. In terms of techniques, there are quite a few who have created their own absolute art. There are even a few who have created their own ultimate arts. In terms of origin law comprehension, amongst the third-level inheritors, there are probably some close to perfection. In terms of body amplification, which of these geniuses doesn't have any? In terms of willpower and consciousness, they are all at the pinnacle. Luo Feng took a deep cold breath as he heard. Ultimate arts? For him to be able to create his own absolute art, he was already praised by the primal Chaos City leader. In this place where over 100 million absolute geniuses from the various races of the universe gathered, Luo Feng wasn't surprised that there were quite a few who could create their own absolute art. However, there were actually a few who created their own ultimate arts. That really shocked Luo Feng. Of course, the absolute arts they created were only the first few forms, but they were still terrifying. The ancestral god sect gathers the absolute geniuses from the trillions of races in the universe. Different races, different talents, different life forms. Some are heaven-defying in terms of their bodies, some have heaven-defying techniques. It's not strange for a few of them to create their own absolute art. Luo Feng thought. He had forgotten. He was the true genius in the eyes of countless other races. There are many invitations, you can't casually accept them. Once you accept, you have to fight. Until you lose all your glory points, only then can you cancel the challenge. Emperor Chimen emphasized, you have to be careful. Luo Feng nodded. At this time, there was a ruckus in the distance. Blade River Emperor, the demon race Yen Jing Emperor challenges you. Do you dare to accept? Blade River Emperor, I'll let you bet. Haha, you probably only have 3 glory points. I'll bet 3 glory points with you. Do you dare? I really doubt if you even have that kind of strength. You're so famous, I'm afraid it's all because of luck. You don't have any true strength. All sorts of voices spoke in the human language. Some were loud, some were sharp, some were low, some were like thunder, some were hoarse with echoes. In an instant, the entire plaza was filled with different races challenging each other. Right, they were challenging each other. Geniuses? They were all absolute geniuses from their own races. Especially in the battle world where they abandoned all treasures and special techniques. Under these circumstances, how could they easily submit to a sector lord? Do you think that Saber River King will accept the challenge? The tall and thin expert with 9 green leaves on his head asked. Maybe he'll get hot-headed and fight once or twice. However, after he loses, he'll understand the strength of the other races. There will definitely be many who want to challenge him. Even though the 3 of us are challenging him, I don't think it'll be our turn. He only has 3 glory points, he'll lose them all very quickly. Once he loses them all, he won't be able to fight anymore. These 3 experts, whose skin was a mixture of green and black, had green leaves on their heads, and their skin was like tree bark, were talking to each other. These were the plant life form mortal spirit race. They had no gender and relied on the mortal spirit ancestor tree to give birth to their descendants. The absolute geniuses from the various races had indeed roused Luo Feng's fighting spirit. However, he was still rational and didn't dare to underestimate these foreign race geniuses. These weren't the average warriors from the alien battlefields. There were many of them who had created their own pinnacle techniques, much less their own ultimate technique. It's still climbing. Luo Feng looked at the black book. The number had already exceeded 100,000. Emperor Chimen. Luo Feng suddenly said. Blade River. Emperor Chimen looked at him. I have an idea. Luo Feng said, give me your virtual universe number. I'll leave Glory World later and enter the virtual universe to contact you. How about we spar in the virtual universe? All right. Emperor Chimen's eyes gleamed. Smart. Emperor Li Shua laughed too. Right, virtual universe, let's spar in the virtual universe. Blade River Emperor, you should first understand your own strength. Amongst the entire 3rd level inheritors, just what level you're at. After which you can choose your opponent. Count me in. Emperor Chimen and I are considered above average 3rd level inheritors. If you fight us, it'll be very easy to find your own position. I'll join too. Chiu Rain Emperor said. I'm from the Great Alliance, I too have a virtual universe number. Haha, then I'll have to thank the 3 of you. Luo Feng said. Receiving so many battle requests, Luo Feng's heart was itching. How could he bear to give up so easily? Who knew when the next time he would receive so many battle requests would be? After finding out Emperor Li Shua, Chiu Rain and Emperor Chimen's virtual universe numbers, Luo Feng's consciousness left Glory World and quickly connected to the virtual universe. Virtual Universe, Great Alliance City's training grounds. The training grounds was a vast mountain range. Luo Feng stood on a mountain peak, and on the other 3 peaks stood 3 silhouettes. Chiu Rain Emperor, Li Shua Emperor and Emperor Chimen. Blade River, don't lose too badly. Emperor Chemin and the other two inheritors' eyes burned with fighting spirit. A long, long time ago, the three of them were as dazzling as the seven-blade emperors and Dream Sway Emperor. It's just that they've been quiet for far too long. However, in terms of strength, they would only be stronger. P.S. 3 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 977. Who's first? Luo Feng looked at the distant three warriors. I'm weaker than the two of them, why don't I go first? Otherwise, if Emperor Chemin or Li Shuo were to go, Blade River Emperor would lose badly. Thousand Rain Emperor teased. Beside, Emperor Chemin and Li Shuo were watching too, waiting for Luo Feng to choose. If you want to go, then go with the strongest. Luo Feng said directly. All right. Emperor Chemin and Li Shuo exchanged glances, following which Emperor Chemin's voice resounded throughout the land and skies. I'm about the same level as Li Shuo, I'll go first. However, Blade River, don't underestimate us, even though we're low profile, within the human-beast god race, there are only 2 or 3 emperors stronger than us. As for the 7 Blade Emperors and the other newbies, they're still weaker than us. Naturally, I won't underestimate them, Luo Feng said. He was very clear, the human race had many old people, maybe stuck at the last step for eons, however some of them had terrifying strength. It was just that many of them were low profile. On the other hand, the 7 Blade Emperors and Dream Illusion Emperor were famous, however if they couldn't break through after 100 million eras, they would be low profile and forgotten by the later generations. Time was like that. In mid-air, Luo Feng and Emperor Chemin faced each other. Familiarize yourself with the body first, Emperor Chemin said. Let me remind you, as the battle will be in the virtual world, hence the moment the battle begins, both sides will immediately ignite their bodies, instantly engaging in the most frenzied battle. Don't be like in reality, unwilling to ignite your body. Hm. Luo Feng, however, felt his virtual god body. Rumble, a powerful energy filled his entire body. Every single cell was formed from incredibly powerful condensed god energy. As long as he willed it, he could instantly transform it into endless god energy. Even if his body was torn apart, he could instantly recover it. This powerful and absolute control feeling far exceeded that of a Sector Lord. A body with 100,000 times Sector Lord's strength. Compared to reality, there are pros and cons. Luo Feng familiarized himself with the body. In reality, even with the help of the general spirit, my spirit energy is only at the beginner emperor level, only relying on my willpower that's even stronger than most knights. I've finally reached the pinnacle of an emperor. But now, even without the general soul, just this illusory divine power alone is already at the peak of the king-conferred realm. Coupled with my will and consciousness, it's only natural that I'm even stronger. Origin force and spiritual energy, when one was in the Sector Lord realm, they would fuse together to form world energy. When it was undying power. Illusory undying power could be used to launch soul attack. In reality, back then when I inherited the spirit amplifier technique from Demon Note, because my world energy was too weak, even after the amplification, it wasn't much compared to the general soul. Luo Feng thought, however now, my god energy has completely amplified once more. From the god force and amplitude, Luo Feng had indeed improved a lot. But there were also weaknesses. Even without the star map, the power of the star map was enough to allow Luo Feng to skip 2 or even 3 levels. Weapon. Luo Feng flipped his hand and immediately 600 golden balls floated out. The translucent golden balls were filled with Origin Law engravings. These 600 golden balls already contained Luo Feng's strongest move within. This was a very normal spirit weapon that Luo Feng had created in the virtual universe. After all, in the glory world, only normal weapons could be used. Have you gotten used to it? Emperor Chaman said. Haha, Emperor Chaman, don't lose too badly. You have to use your full strength. Luo Feng immediately rumbled, and every cell in his body began to burn. His energy rose and his strength immediately rose by 1,000 times. How long have you been training for? I'll let you know that us old folks aren't to be trifled with. We'll finish you within 3 moves. 2 knife claws suddenly appeared in Emperor Cha-Man's hands. Those were huge claws that covered his fist. 1. Luo Feng flipped his hand and the 600 golden balls floated. Spirit Reader? Emperor Cha-Man frowned and looked suspiciously at Luo Feng. The race should have informed them before they went to the inheritance grounds. Spirit readers that walked the beast god path would be at a disadvantage. How was this Blade River Emperor a spirit reader? Luo Feng casually tossed. The blazing holified god power passed through the complex law runes on the 600 gold balls, instantly triggering the fusion laws. In an instant, a gigantic beast deity appeared in the sky. By relying on the blazing god power to execute this move, it caused the beast deity to look even more real. As for the scaled tail, it was filled with an endless pressure. Humph! Emperor Cha-Man fiercely snorted. Rumble, his entire body swiftly transformed. Scales appeared all over his body and his arms thickened. He was like a human-shaped beast god. Behind him, a huge and indistinct beast god silhouette appeared. His eyes were filled with madness. An originally elegant human warrior immediately became incredibly savage and crazy. He became a beam of light and rushed at Luo Feng. Chang Yu and Li Shuo Emperor watched carefully from afar. That Blade River Emperor is indeed powerful. He's actually only slightly weaker and quickly got used to Emperor Cha-Man's battle style. Chang Yu Emperor was overjoyed. They're actually evenly matched. Don't rush, Li Shuo Emperor said softly. Emperor Cha-Man thinks that Blade River's training time is too short and his techniques aren't good enough. Hence, he didn't use his true strongest techniques from the start. Look, isn't that Blade River Emperor at a disadvantage? Now that the divine body is the same, it tests one's comprehension of the laws, secret arts, divine power amplitude, experience, and so on. King Chapman is already very perfect in these aspects. His secret arts are also peak ultimate arts, and his divine power amplitude was also inherited by the divine general demonic note. Pinnacle techniques weren't rare at all. Universe Knights could almost all create their own pinnacle technique. And those absolute geniuses that had hopes of stepping into the realm of knights naturally had high expectations for themselves. Especially since they couldn't break through for so long, they placed even more emphasis on creating their own technique. Unless those races were very weak and didn't have a good teacher, otherwise with a good teacher and a long period of time, creating their own pinnacle techniques was indeed not a small number. Luo Feng was praised back then only because the time he took to create his own techniques was very short. That Blade River Emperor is already not bad at all. But Emperor Cha-Man isn't. What? Li Shuo Emperor was shocked. Blade River Emperor, Blade River Emperor. Chang Yu Emperor too stared. Blade River Emperor actually immediately exploded. Before, the two were still evenly matched. However, right after, the Blade River Emperor's strength seemed to explode, and he actually suppressed Emperor Cha-Man. In midair, lose. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with madness. His willpower immediately reached its peak. Rumble. In midair, the scaled tail of the giant beast god was like a road roller, crushing the spacetime. Rumble. The spacetime trembled. The scaled tail was incomparably ferocious, and its power was boundless. It was extremely overbearing. At the same time, its speed was terrifyingly fast. Pung! King Chaman, the beast god in human form, roared and used his claws to block the scaly tail that was lashing at him. Pung! His entire body was violently whipped. His divine body's exhaustion immediately increased. Admit defeat. Luo Feng didn't show any mercy. He madly attacked, suppressing Emperor Cha-Man time and time again, until Emperor Cha Man's divine body completely dissipated. Luo Feng's victory. Luo Feng stood in mid-air and looked at the distant, shocked Changyu Emperor and Li Shuo Emperor. He was shocked within. I didn't expect to be forced to this extent. I've used my own strongest technique, and even compared to them, I still have the beast god mentality advantage. When the other inheritors used their origin law comprehension to activate their ultimate move. However, Luo Feng used his beast god mentality to activate his ultimate move. Just in terms of origin law comprehension, Luo Feng was at the mid-level 3. However, his beast god mentality had already exceeded the perfect level 3, reaching the entrance of the 4th level. After all, his beast god mentality was extremely close to the 21st level of the heavenly bridge. Hence, with the beast god mentality, Luo Feng had a huge advantage. Along with his spirit energy oscillation, Luo Feng was very strong too, and wasn't considered a weakness. However, when Luo Feng's willpower wasn't fully unleashed at the start, he was actually at a disadvantage. This made Luo Feng exclaim. His willpower that was even stronger than most of the knights exploded. If he was a fighter, the benefits of having a strong willpower wouldn't be obvious. However, spirit readers were different. Willpower was the commander, consciousness was the general, spirit energy was the soldier. The willpower was extremely strong, causing Luo Feng's spirit weapon power to rise by 2 levels, from being at a disadvantage to completely suppressing Emperor Cha Man. I've lost. Emperor Cha Man flew over, looking incredulously at Luo Feng. Blade River, how did you? I admit defeat too, there's no need to continue. Li Shuo Emperor shook his head and sighed. Blade River, your reputation is indeed not fake. Other than treasures, your own strength, we all respect you. The two of them didn't feel good within. Even though they were low profile, they were very confident in their strength. Amongst the countless geniuses in the inheritance grounds, they were ranked above average. One had to know that once one reached a certain level, it was very hard to improve. Their willpower, consciousness, techniques, God energy oscillation, etc., had all reached a near-perfect level. However, they still lost, and it was a crushing defeat. Relying on the beast god mentality and willpower, these two absolute advantages, I was able to completely suppress Emperor Cha Man, Luo Feng thought. Meanwhile, in the distant core area of the Ancestor God sect, on Circus Island, the inheritors who had sent Luo Feng a duel invitation and were discussing this matter in groups of 2s and 3s soon received an answer. That Blade River Emperor is after all just a sector lord. In the virtual world, abandoning all treasures in reality, he relies on his true strength. Didn't Bug Emperor also have to lower his head back then? I estimate that there are at least hundreds of thousands of challenge letters. I know a lot more. So many challenge letters, how many will he dare to accept? He too challenged me. What, accepted? You're really lucky. He probably just picked the weakest ones, he accepted my challenge too. I've received his reply too, he accepted. In the glory world, in the open-air plaza, a large number of outsiders were flipping through their black book. All of them had received a reply. Accepted. He accepted. He accepted. Blade River Emperor accepted. Voices resounded from all over the plaza. This caused the trillions of races in the universe to be shocked. Just how many challenges did this Blade River Emperor accept? Probably tens of thousands of them. P.S. Here's the first chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 978. The Circus Island was surrounded by endless colorful auroras, and the halo that demonstrated the mysteries of the origin law of the universe was constantly expanding in the sky. There were many palaces on the Circus Island, and one of them was decorated with ancient sword carvings. Suddenly, the palace door opened and a figure walked out. He was wearing purple armor, and there was a mark of 7 swords between his eyebrows. His whole body was like a sword, and his eyes were as sharp as swords. Seven-Sword King, your human king of Knife River is really amazing. Seven-Sword King, did you challenge him? Two dark aliens who looked like short chimpanzees shouted in the distance. The Seven-Sword King was a little famous on the Circus Island because he had found a treasure in the Treasure Land. That Treasure Land turned out to be the place where a super-existence of the ancestor god sect had left his inheritance. In the Glory World, he might be average, but in the real world, with the Seven-Sword inheritance and the Beast God's inheritance, which made countless strong people jealous, he would be very terrifying when he went crazy. His life-saving ability was incomparably heaven-defying. Even many human strong people were jealous of his luck. The Seven-Sword inheritance alone made him and Dream Sway King the two immortal geniuses of this generation of human beings. And the inheritance of the Beast God made his status in the human race higher than that of Dream Sway King. However, many aliens didn't know what the treasure he had found was, and the Seven-Sword King had always kept it a secret. Even the top race, the machine race, only knew that he had obtained some kind of inheritance. The Treasure Land was the treasure left by the Beast God, the Guardian Beast God, and the Beast God of the Ancestor God sect. As for what the treasure was, it was hard to say. It didn't necessarily have to be related to the way of the Beast God. For example, if Luo Feng's status was high in the future, he could still put some treasures that he accidentally obtained in the Treasure Land for future generations. As a result, except for the Seven-Sword King, the top leaders of the human race, and the Ancestor God sect, no other forces knew how amazing the Seven-Sword King's actual harvest was. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent the Life-Destruction King to assassinate him. Haha, he is also a human being. Why should I challenge him when so many alien strong people want to challenge him? Sword light flashed in the Seven-Sword King's eyes, and he laughed out loud. Oh right, do you know how many challenges this Saber River King has accepted? If even you don't know, how would we know? All we know is, there are at least 10,000 matches. With a single step, the two of them crossed over 1,000 kilometers, disappearing into the distance. 10,000 matches? The Seven-Sword King stood in front of the palace and muttered to himself, Blade River King, the most outstanding genius of the human race? Saber River King. I will not admit defeat so easily. After what he had obtained in the treasure ground, he had already thought that he had surpassed the Dream Sway King and was the most talented human of his generation, but now the Blade River King had appeared out of nowhere. Back then in the extraterritorial battlefield, you were very inconspicuous, so I didn't care about you at all. I didn't think that your true identity was actually the Realm Lord. Knowing that you have accepted so many challenges, I really wanted to take a look at you. For the first time, I want to see what kind of genius of my human race that even my teacher believes has surpassed me is like. The Seven-Sword King silently said, I don't know if you are truly confident or if you are crazy, but you have actually challenged me over 10,000 times. You will soon understand the inheritors here are all peerless geniuses. Even I can only be considered average in the world of glory. The cruel reality will soon wake you up. The core area of the Ancestor God sect, one of the 8 directional Beast God temples, the Thunder Beast God Temple. From the outside, the entire Beast God Temple looked like a towering and resplendent palace that was hundreds of millions of kilometers tall. But in reality, the palace was actually a part of spacetime. In this part of spacetime, there were rivers, mountain ranges, ice and snow, deserts, scenery everywhere. In the depths of an endless mountain range. Ho, hoo, it was like breathing. Every roar would fill the spacetime that spanned over a light year with lightning. Countless lightning bolts would shoot out, and every hoo would cause violent winds to howl in this part of spacetime. Countless mountain ranges would be destroyed, rivers would cease to flow, and deserts would be filled with sand. Thankfully, there were no other living beings in this spacetime. How dare you disturb my slumber? A rumbling sound resounded throughout space-time. A few mountain peaks in the endless mountain range were pushed up, and a gigantic three-legged, winged, green-furred beast god that was over 100,000 kilometers long stood up. Every step it took caused the ground to tremble and mountains to collapse. The ancestor god made me manage the trifling matters of the sect. The other 7 beast gods are all slacking off somewhere. I'm the only one left to stay here for 100 million epochs. How long have I been sleeping? It's only been 30 million epochs. I actually have to stay here for 70 million epochs before I can leave? The huge fur-covered beast god walked, causing space-time to tremble. Come in. The thunder beast god finally spoke. The space-time of the beast god temple opened up, and the god general who had been waiting outside immediately entered. God General Bloodfire greets the beast god. God General Bloodfire streaked across the sky and landed on the peak of a mountain range. He looked at the beast god in the distance, which was even larger than the mountain range, and immediately greeted him respectfully. I said before, don't disturb my slumber unless it's something really important. The thunder beast god spewed out a stream of air from his nostrils, causing the surrounding mountain range to vanish into nothingness. More lightning appeared out of nowhere in the sky, as though expressing the thunder beast god's fury. God General Bloodfire bowed respectfully. Beast god, it's something important. God General Bloodfire was helpless. The ancestor god sect had long formed a system. Many matters could be resolved by god generals, especially since the beast gods were lazier than the other. They couldn't be bothered to manage things, and they couldn't even be bothered to connect their consciousnesses to the world of glory. Clearly, splitting their consciousnesses made them very unhappy. Speak. The Thunder Beast God looked down at the tiny God General Bloodfire. After inheriting the position of God General Bloodfire was definitely an existence that could fight ordinary universe lords head-on. As for the Thunder Beast God, once he inherited the position of Beast God, he would become even more powerful. We discovered a universe genius worthy of the ancestor god sect's nurturing, said God General Bloodfire immediately. Universe genius? You interrupted my slumber because of this? The Thunder Beast God's eyes flickered with lightning. Because he can kill peak stage Kinkenford experts when he's a world overlord. God General Bloodfire hurriedly said. A powerful special life form? The Thunder Beast God's eyes lit up. The Ancestor God sect also needed to nurture experts, and the Insect Monarch was one of them. Things would be different if the Ancestor God sect took a liking to him. It was just that the Ancestor God sect had extremely high standard. The so-called peerless geniuses in the universe, even if they were at the level of Kadi, were beneath their notice. No, a human. He is a human, but he was able to kill peak stage sealed kings when he was a world overlord. The Bloodfire God General said. And he did it head-on. Divine General Bloodfire was managing the Ancestor God sect on behalf of the Beast God, so he knew more secrets. In terms of understanding the operating laws of the universe the most, without a doubt, it was the Ancestor God cult. A frontal attack? This goes against the laws of the universe. The Thunder Beast God's voice rumbled. If it was a world overlord who relied on sneak attacks and some powerful treasures, there was hope. But a head-on battle? A peak stage sealed king, with just a soul attack and a god attack, could easily defeat a world overlord. According to the Ancestor God sect's intelligence, especially when he was in the ice prison, he relied on treasures to hide his energy, allowing him to fight against an emperor invincible. He could defend against soul attacks and material attack. His strength could even kill an emperor invincible. The Bloodfire God General said. The Thunder Beast God's huge eyes gleamed. He had a special encounter, and this special encounter allowed him to go against the laws of the universe, and not be suppressed by the laws of the universe. It was very clear what this meant. The universe was fair. Even the general armor and emperor armor that could raise one's strength placed a huge burden on the body. For example, the emperor armor required one to have 10,000 times the strength of a sector lord to wear it. Even the golden horned beast had to train in the 9 calamities manual to wear it. Hence, without the heavenly 9 calamities manual, the general armor, emperor armor, general soul, etc., couldn't be used at all. Without these, Luo Feng would just be a normal absolute genius. At most, he could match up to Kadi. How could he kill an emperor invincible as a sector lord? Going against the laws of the universe, won't he be suppressed? The thunder beast god's voice rumbled. Pay attention to him. From now on, always pay attention to him. Beast god, because he has a huge reputation in the universe. After all, being able to kill an emperor invincible as a sector lord, even though other powers besides our ancestor god's sect don't understand the meaning behind it. He is after all a human, being able to do this is still shocking the universe. Hence, after he came to the inheritance grounds, he received large amounts of invitations from the other inheritors. Just now, this human accepted all the invitations. The Bloodfire God General said. All. The Beast God was shocked. Yes, all the invitations, over 620,000 battles. The Bloodfire God General said. 620,000 battles? What's his name? The Beast God General asked. Blade River Emperor. His real name is suspected to be Luo Feng. The Bloodfire God General said. Take a good look at the results of these 620,000 battles. I too want to know, an existence that goes against the laws of the universe, just how far he can go. His opponents are absolute geniuses from all over the universe. The Beast God General said. Glory World, Battle World. Within the endless desert, Luo Feng was dressed in black armor and boot. Simultaneously, he had a pair of scaled wings. Because Luo Feng's flying and dodging skills were the most convenient and quick to use his wings. What a powerful god body! I haven't even become an undying, but in the virtual world, I can already feel the feeling of having a 100,000x sector lord strength. Luo Feng looked at the distant silhouette. In the distance, a silver-gray snake-shaped monster slowly drilled out of the desert. Its triangular head was raised high, its huge body was in the desert, faintly discernible. Luo Feng smiled. The first battle of the 620,000 battles. P.S. Chapter 2 has ended, there's still Chapter 3. Not finished yet. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 979. The silver snake monster slowly slithered out of the desert. It raised its triangular head and stared coldly at the distant Luo Feng. It let out a sharp, high-pitched sound that was millions of times louder than scratching glass. Blade River King, how many glory points do you have? Do you dare to make a big bet with me? The sound was like a shockwave that lifted up the endless sand. You're honored, because you're my first opponent in the glory world. Luo Feng smiled in the sand. First? Ha! Looks like I deserve to be happy. 3 glory points, do you dare? The silver snake monster stared at Luo Feng, full of provocation. I'll choose 1 glory point to fight against all my opponents. Luo Feng said. He wasn't stupid. Based on his battle with King Chapman and some of his own logic, he should be at the top of the 3 inheritors with his beast god mentality and powerful willpower. However, he was afraid of making a mistake. If he made a big bet and lost, he would lose all his glory points and wouldn't be able to fight against other opponents. He had over 620,000 battles. Even if he bet 1 glory point per battle, it would be enough. Haha, I wanted to win your glory points so that the other inheritors can't fight against you. When that time comes, the entire Circus Island will know that you, Blade River King, were defeated by me, Paikafunsi King. The silver snake monster said proudly. Cut the crap. Let's fight. Luo Feng sneered. You're just a warm-up. Damn it! Along with the ear-piercing scream, a terrifying aura shot up into the sky, causing the entire desert to shake. Very good. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. Rumble, the aura around his body exploded as he ignited his immortal body. At the same time, he flapped his scaled wings and became a beam of light. At the same time, he swung his left hand and 600 gold pearls flew through the air. These 600 gold pearls were made purely from the Glory World's battle world. Each pearl was made from materials commonly used by Emperor-level spirit readers to make weapons. Along with the beast god's roar and the silver snake monster's ear-piercing scream, the battle began. Only a few seconds later, after tens of exchanges, Pa-Ika Funsi King's godly body was completely destroyed. No. The silver-gray snake silhouette's sinister eyes were filled with disbelief and anger. It wasn't willing to believe that it would lose to a world overlord. Under the same conditions, it actually lost. After that, its silhouette turned blurry and vanished. Clearly, it was kicked out of the battle world, because Luo Feng had started his second battle. 4 glory points, Luo Feng took advantage of the gap between the two battles to flip through the black book. Indeed, his glory points increased by 1. The first opponent I chose earlier was considered average amongst the 3-level inheritors. Its strength was indeed slightly weaker than Emperor Chimen. Luo Feng didn't even have to use his full strength to defeat his opponent. He was still standing in the desert. Luo Feng looked at the distant second opponent, smiling. Another free honor point, he's here. The battle continued. Glory World's open-air plaza was in an uproar. At least 100 million inheritors from all over the universe had their consciousness connected to Glory World. Even the 7 Sword Kings were the same, because they had received the news that Blade River King had already begun to challenge them. What, you actually lost to that Blade River King? That Blade River King is just a sector lord. He doesn't have any treasures or external items in the battle world, and you still lost? Ha 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 ha. I actually lost. How useless. I hope that Blade River King doesn't lose all his honor points so quickly. That way it'll be my turn. Watch me. In the beginning, the 3 foreign race experts who lost consecutively were ridiculed by the other inheritors in their respective forces. Although they were ridiculing them, the other inheritors were also on their guard because they knew the strength of their companions. However, the open-air plaza was simply too huge. Close to 100 million inheritors were gathered there, with hundreds and thousands of them divided into their own groups. Hence, the news of the 3 who lost consecutively only spread within their own circles. The other inheritors didn't realize anything yet. However, Luo Feng's battles were simply too fast. Because in the battle world, his godly body would recover after every battle. Hence, Luo Feng didn't need to rest at all, consecutively fighting 1,000 battles in one go. After spending about 11 hours, Luo Feng temporarily stopped and decided to rest. 1,000 battles, spending close to 11 hours. In truth, every battle, the actual duration of the battle doesn't even exceed 10 seconds. It's actually the activation of each battle within the battle world and the conversations that take up a bit of time. Luo Feng thought. Luckily, Luo Feng was usually too lazy to speak. Instead, he would say things like, "Give me your honor points, prepare to die, I'm getting impatient," etc. to provoke him. Redbud Island before Luo Feng's mansion. Blade River. Blade River. A shout resounded from outside. After battling 1,000 battles, Luo Feng, who had temporarily left the glory world and was preparing to rest, heard 2 shouts from outside. He knew it was Chong Yu Emperor and Chimen Emperor. Luo Feng took a step and vanished from the pavilion. Arriving at the entrance of the mansion, he personally went to open the door. Outside stood 3 people. They were Chimen Emperor, Chong Yu Emperor, and another human inheritor. 7 Blade Emperors? Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at the visiting human warrior. Back in the Star Tower, he had seen this 7 Blade Emperor before. The Seven Swords King carefully observed the Blade River King, whose name shook the universe. This was the first time he seriously observed the Blade River King. The Blade River King looked very ordinary at first glance, but if one carefully observed the Blade River King's eyes, they would be able to sense the incomparably terrifying spirit force contained within the Blade River King's heart. That was the confidence that came from his strong willpower, and his extreme determination towards himself. Even a sense of tyranny was contained within. This was something that Luo Feng's identity had been revealed by the Sky Wolf leader. He no longer tried to hide it. Instead, he became even more determined and prepared to face any storm. True gold fears no fire. Only through constant training would one's blade shine even more. Seven-Blade Emperor, this is our second meeting. Luo Feng's lips curled into a smile. Last time I was only paying attention to the ceiling stars. I didn't notice the Blade River Emperor. Seven-Blade Emperor smiled. Today I've specially come to meet the legendary Blade River Emperor. I wonder if Blade River Emperor would welcome me. Of course you would. Luo Feng smiled and moved aside. You three, please. Haha, I've said before that Blade River Emperor is a very easy friend to get along with. Qianyu Emperor smiled beside. Emperor Chemin, however, was very calm. Luo Feng and the other three entered the mansion. Very quickly, they arrived at the guest hall. This guest hall was still in the style of Luo Feng's hometown, Jiangnan. Within the hall, there were only chairs and a tea table. Luo Feng sat in the main seat. Even though the Seven-Blade Emperor, Qianyu Emperor and Chemin Emperor were curious about the layout, they looked at the three chairs on the left and right and casually sat down. Blade River. Emperor Chemin said, "Just how many battles have you accepted?" "Everyone that has challenged me, I've accepted them all," Luo Feng said. Beside, Qianyu Emperor and Seven-Blade Emperor were slightly shocked. "Then how many?" "Back when you entered the Plaza of Glory World for such a short period of time, there were already tens of thousands of battle requests. And right now, the other races in Glory World are spreading the news. After asking the other powers, they've already guessed that you've challenged over 100,000 battles. The main thing is that there are too many powers, it's hard to calculate in a short time. However, in a few days it should be clear." Luo Feng smiled. "Right, when I first entered Glory World, there weren't many battle requests. After that, the number increased. I've received a total of over 620,000 battle requests. It's not out of my expectations. The total number of 3 inheritors is over 90 million. 620,000 battle requests isn't even 1%. 666. 62? Emperor Chemin couldn't help but be shocked. 620,000? Qianyu Emperor too opened his mouth wide. Even the Seven-Blade Emperors were stunned for a moment. This number was too terrifying. One had to know that Emperor Chemin had been here for an incomparably long period of time, yet he didn't even reach 1,000. After all, challenging someone was a very cautious thing. Plus, the human race had already met many enemies from other races in the universe. Sector Lord to be able to kill an Emperor-level pinnacle. King Chapman shook his head and sighed. "Your name is too big. You've long been recognized as an absolute genius who can leave his name in the history of the universe. Those alien race inheritors want to fight with you personally. Furthermore, the alien race inheritors are too confident. No matter how cautious they are, with over 90 million inheritors, it's indeed very normal for over 620,000 inheritors to challenge you. We've come here to congratulate you. Congratulations on your 989 wins and 11 losses today." Qianyu Emperor laughed loudly beside. "Congratulations," Emperor Chemin said. "Earning over 900 glory points in one day. That's enough to exchange for 9 inheritance chances." The Seven-Blade Emperor sighed. "How enviable. And Blade River Emperor, this is only your first day." Luo Feng smiled, thinking within, "And I've lost 11 times." Even though his own strength was at the pinnacle, that didn't mean he was the strongest of the three inheritors. One had to know that different battle styles, different techniques, and even mutually countered each other. And Luo Feng chose his opponent. Of the 1,000 he chose on the first day, some were strong and some were weak. After all, those who challenged him were usually more confident, especially the pinnacle warriors. As long as they were on Circe's island, almost all of them would challenge him. Luo Feng accepted them all. Losing these glory points, I don't care. To be able to battle with so many other inheritors, haha, it's worth it. Luo Feng was filled with pride within. On the second day, Luo Feng continued his battles. Luo Feng's battle results, the other inheritors only needed to look at the black book to know. On the three inheritors list, it was clearly written XX wins and XX losses. 1,000 battles a day. He would rest after each battle and continue the next day. And so it went on. Luo Feng's glory points rose at an extremely fast rate. This made countless other inheritors stare with gaping mouths. Especially that extremely high win rate. It proved that the Blade River Emperor belonged to the pinnacle of the 90 million third-level inheritors. This made many of the other inheritors who wanted to trample on the Blade River Emperor regret it greatly. It was a pity that they had already sent out the challenge letters and Luo Feng had already accepted them. They couldn't go back on their words. Even if they didn't fight, it would be seen as them giving up and they would still lose 1 glory point. P.S. This week, Tomato has been working hard to make up for it. Who would have thought that he would end up owing 5 chapters? It was all tears. However, Tomato was filled with confidence. Damn, Tomato has already completed 9 chapters a day. Tomorrow, Saturday, Tomato will complete 5 chapters. 5 chapters will definitely be done. Brothers, monthly votes, recommendation votes too. Tomorrow, 5 chapters. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.